Next time I saw, just so you know, I cashed that bet. Like,
it is one of those things. There is a small little nuance thing to like know if someone actually bets on everything they say to talk about. Is that if you don't bet on it, you don't have the same memory or reaction to the outcome of it. Whereas Scott has a record of everything.
Yeah,
he's
keeping everything. Tabs. He's locked in. Okay,
so a good way to tell your favorite gambling content creator might be full.
There's some fugazi gambling content people.
Do they celebrate the wins? Because if they celebrate the wins, it's a good place to start. But do they mention the losses? All right, you want to go first or should I?
You can go first, right?
Well, I'm playing some baseball, thanks to Scott.
Yeah, of course.
As I mentioned, I have a little bit of a youth soccer day on Saturday, but I'm going to take the as Scott recommended, Tigers first 5 minus the half. Houston Astros and the A's to go over the 10 runs.
And why do you like that?
What do you mean? Why do I like that? Well, Scott likes it, and 2 because they're playing in that batters the pill box. Is that what they call them still?
I don't know.
Small field up there in Sacramento. And then we're taking the Yankees because, of course, we all know I'm a big Yankees fan. Laying the 1.5 run line plus 120. Great price that Scott pointed out. Basketball. Give me Creighton in the Crown. That's the that's the big bet. Give me Creighton as the money line dog. And then I like both dogs in the Final Four. I'll go against you. I'm on UConn and Dan Hurley. He does not lose. He does not cover at this stage in the tournament. And then give me Arizona. Earlier in the show, we were talking to Colby. I do think the coach returning does give them a little bit of a boost. And they're going against a great team. They're a great team. I'll take the 1.5 and then close it out with a little UFL, Sean. Louisville plus the 3.5 and play the money line if your book allows you to.
What book doesn't allow a UFL money line?
There's some places out there that aren't offering the UFL money lines. Which
some places don't parlay. I haven't. Every place I've seen UFL, they have the money line.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and also you're right. That sometimes they'll box the games. You can't do the parlays. Birmingham, we're going to lay the points. You can find if you search, you can find -7, -120 out there. But I'll lay the 7.5 against the gamblers. They're going to have to show me before we do anything that isn't just fade Kevin Sumlin. And then give me the Renegades laying the 3.5. This maybe is where I fall off the rails, but I'm gonna fade St. Louis coming off that nice home performance and Dallas at home again.
Okay, for me, yes, I'm going to just tail Scott's Detroit Tigers first 5 laying the half. Why not? Why not a little action? For the Crown, Oklahoma, I'm with you there. I'm also with you on Creighton. Like the story there, we get the plus 1.5 for Creighton. Tulsa getting the full 5. I think you didn't add Auburn to your must not feel that confident, Ryan, about your Auburn Tigers.
I haven't bet it yet. And if I end up being on that side, the game's on Sunday, Sean. Yeah. Who now I got UFL football to watch. Plus it's Easter. I'll be hunting eggs.
What better way to celebrate Easter than watching the NIT championship?
Watching the Bruce Pearl
forcing your family to watch the NIT championship. For me, the Final Four, I'm going chalky. I know Dan Hurley is a tough fade in the Final Four, but Brad Underwood also. You look at his ATS numbers with extra time to prepare. This Illinois team continues to be doubted. I think the Europeans get it done. Give me Illinois laying the 1.5, and then on the other side, Michigan to me is the best team left in the Final Four. No disrespect to Arizona. I think Arizona is going to give them a game, but Michigan will be victorious. Happily lay the 1.5. With you, Kramer, on the Louisville Kings getting 3.5 should be a game. I'll happily take the 3.5. Fade the Houston Gamblers at all costs. Give me the Birmingham Stallions laying 7.5. Caw is the law, Ryan.
On the road,
St. Louis Battlehawks plus 3.5. Can't believe you're giving out pro Dallas football plays on the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Frisco.
No, they are the Dallas Renegades.
Playing Frisco.
Francis Mauioa, first offensive lineman drafted at -220, and then 2 NBA plays. I'll eat the chalk with the Heat laying 16.5. Even though Scott did have an interesting Bam Adebayo handicap. I'll just take again. Heat off a loss has been money. 24-12 ATS, and then Spurs. Spurs, they don't lose. The Spurs are just insane right now. Sure, normally my one of my betting commandments is Joker as a dog of 5 or more. They're only getting 2 points. I don't think that's enough. Give me the Spurs laying the short number on the road there at -2. So that's it for me. Kramer, I see you copying.
Well, I realized I didn't put my draft stuff in. I'm also on the Maui Ogo with a lineman -1 or -220 first lineman, but Jordan Tyson plus 285 first receiver, and then I'll go. We didn't get to it, but first cornerback. I'm also on the kid out of Texas, I believe, Jermod McCoy plus 290 to be the first corner. I'm not. I understand why. I understand why he's not the favorite. I think everyone thinks Mansour Delane is going to be the guy, but similar kind of situation. This feels a little bit like when Quignon and was it Terrion Arnold was the other guy, and Quignon was the dog for much of the pre-draft process.
Well, that was like they were afraid that a guy coming out of the MAC, wasn't gonna. They liked looking at the pedigree. Well, Terrion Arnold coming from a bigger school.
So in this case, it's McCoy coming off an ACL.
Yeah,
it's another injury thing where he didn't play last. He got injured last year. So you're projecting, but I think cornerback's one of those positions you kind of have to. The guys that are successful have the tools, have the projection.
And I mean, hats off to Howie Roseman. The fact that you got Quignon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in the same draft, just amazing job by him. The markets are coming out for which position the team will draft. Eagles offensive lineman at plus 110 for their first pick. Now maybe there's a chance they could go edge rusher, but O-line at plus 110. I know it's the favorite there, but that feels like the Eagles. There's some guys they draft in the first round, and it's O-line, D-line, maybe cornerback depending on the year. But I saw a lot of mock drafts still have them getting Kenyon Sadiq, even with them reworking Goddard and bringing him back. I would be very surprised if they draft Kenyon Sadiq.
It's not that's like
you got to go. Keith Jackson was the last time they used a first round pick on a tight end.
Too often,
1988.
These mock draft guys, like you can tell they don't watch the games. It's like that's not
well, and they don't. These GMs and franchises, they especially a guy like Howie Roseman. Long history, lots of data of what he does and doesn't do, especially in the first round. So if they draft Kenyon Sadiq, I would be shocked, honestly, just because that they don't spend draft capital. And maybe if Kenyon Sadiq falls in the second round, sure, but he's looking to be a top pick there. We got more draft coverage coming up in the Sports Gambling Podcast, but stay tuned here on VSiN. The betting coverage continues, beginning with the VSiN weekend morning line with our good buddy Tim Murray at 9 a.m. East. Then at noon, you got Ready, Set, Bet with Mike Somich and Matt Brown. Good times as always there. And from 3 o'clock on, Live Bet Saturday gives you the edge with live betting opportunities. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of live betting opportunities
in the UFL.
In the UFL. And in the college basketball games. I mean, both spreads super tight. I guess I'd be surprised if we get any sort of blowouts here in the Final Four. The spread suggests that we get some competitive games, and I think we do.
Lady Cox laying 2.5 against the Lady Bruins. Who you got, Sean?
I'm a UCLA guy. Give me UCLA as a dog. Okay. Team of Destiny.
Yeah, Dawn Staley.
Oh, that's a little. I think maybe they dumped the Gatorade after you beat UConn. Don't you feel like you already kind of won the tournament?
She was pretty hot afterwards.
Yeah.
But as CJ,
I guess I could go either way.
As CJ pointed out, she's a Philly girl. So.
Yeah, don't mess. So maybe I should support her. I'll stick with UCLA. Good times as always, and of course,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean Second, the Money Green. He's Ryan.
Good luck to Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies.
Kramer, let it ride.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Hey, it's JVT from Pod to the Futures. Mitch Moss and I project the NBA playoffs, including a favorable first-round matchup for the 76ers.
Adopt US Kids
Maxey, Paul
presents
George,
What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Youngstown, Warren, and Salem's local and national sports talk can be found on TuneIn and the Live 365 app at Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/our stories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Are you tired of switching apps just to catch your favorite shows and live events? Say hello to the iMedia1 Network app, your one-stop destination for streaming and everything that matters. From national sports to exclusive local content, Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast are now all in one place, anytime, anywhere. Download the free iMedia1 Network app on iOS and Android and unlock the future of sports audio in the palm of your hand. The iMedia1 Network, your sports app in the Valley.
It's time to kick back and listen to the sports page with your host, Pat Lucia, right here on Western Reserve Radio. You can call the show at 330-707-4202 and tell everyone what's on your mind in the wonderful world of sports. Now, here's your host, Pat Lucia.
Saturday morning sports page, Pat Lucia. 330-707-4202. Get in, talk sports. Do it every Saturday morning here. Here is Western Reserve Radio. Got a lot to get to today. Big games tonight. There were big games last night for the women. Get to that. Talk about the tonight big games between Illinois taking on UConn Huskies. That's at 6:09. Interesting. These games are on TBS, True TV, but not on CBS. So you're going to have either streaming, cable, etc., to get these games, but they will not be on network TV tonight. The other game at 8:49, Michigan and Arizona. So this will be probably pretty good stuff to watch tonight. The games last night were definitely more interesting, we don't know if they're more interesting yet. I should probably rephrase that. The games tonight hopefully will be as good as the ones were last night. For those that did not watch the games, South Carolina upset UConn 62-48. Yes, there was a little bit of a dust-up between Geno Smith and Dawn Staley after the game. If you watched the game, even during I believe it was at the end of the third quarter, where the news announcers always stick a microphone in the coach's face, kind of got Geno at a tough time because Geno was complaining about the referees, made a comment about Dawn Staley yelling at the referees and getting the calls, etc. I'm kind of paraphrasing it. You could watch this. I'm sure it's all over the internet. And bottom line is, then Geno, after the game, evidently said that Dawn Staley didn't shake his hand, i.e. Geno got beat and was not happy in getting beat. And it was a good game. South Carolina seemed to be controlling the game pretty much throughout the game, although UConn did make some good attempts to get back in it, and at one time did. But then South Carolina pulled away and won 62-48. And again, it was a very good game, I thought, because you always thought UConn was going to make a move to potentially get back in the game and won. And South Carolina, I thought, pretty much had their way with UConn. Gino, not a happy camper, and kind of really reminded me of an old man complaining. That's what it was. I mean, sadly, it just, I hate to say this, but I know Gino's in his 70s, and I know he's been doing it forever, and he even brings, look, my experience has always been, Dave Clark's with me, is when somebody is wrong, what they do, especially if they're old, like in their 70s, is they use the phrase, I've been doing this for 35 years, and this is the way it is. Even though you're dead wrong, you go back to all the years you've got in, so that you're using I've got all this experience, therefore I get a pass for basically being wrong. And that's what you got here. Gino, you're getting the team beat. Dawn Staley had those South Carolina ready to go out of the gate. I thought South Carolina pretty much dominated the game. Although UConn wasn't going to go away, I knew that. Mm-hmm. And I kept waiting for UConn to overtake them and get the lead, but they never did. And it seemed like when UConn got close, Dawn Staley, South Carolina Gamecocks started to pull away. And then they were controlling that game in the last few minutes. And then you could just see as the game progressed, the last, say, 10 minutes, Carolina was really starting to build the lead. And then UConn could not make a basket when they needed to. And then Gino got into that dust up with her, which was, I thought, just ridiculous. I'm sorry. I know Gino is a Hall of Fame coach, and I believe he has 6, how many championships he's got. I think it's 6 or 7. I'll look it up. But, at the end of the day, you got beat. And that's what happened. Right. And Gino just sounds like an old man. Get off the lawn. I'm right. You're wrong, because I've been coaching for 35 years, so I get a pass on pretty much everything, anything. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
Dave Clark, your thoughts, please.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you just said is when you said Don Staley had them ready to play. Yes. And this is when I really figured it out. Connecticut was winning. UConn was up, I think it was like 15-8.
Yeah, in the beginning.
At the beginning.
Yep.
And I said, okay, now it started off nip and tuck, and then all of a sudden you seen UConn take off a little bit, and I thought, okay, now they're going to panic. They're going to fold. Their demeanor never changed. Their defensive intensity got even more intense, and I just looked at what went on. I said, man, they are locked in. When I mean locked in, they were locked in. And, you're right. This brought back something. I thought about old partner that used to do when I used to do my show back at the other station years ago. Tony Marcotta. We was watching, and we got upset with Gino, and we was wondering. I'm wondering what was it back there. I couldn't think what it was. Well, it was because the Pathead Summit had her team in Tennessee starting to roll, and they took Connecticut out over and over, and he acted like that then, like a spoiled brat. That was way back then. And he really didn't want to give that like attention to Pathead Summit, how great a coach she was. Well, she had great players too, but she was a great coach. And he seemed like he didn't like that. This is the same thing here to me, because after that to talk about, she didn't come and shake your hand. They showed before the game when they were walking past. She did, but he kind of walked past real quick. He did touch her and shake it and just kept rolling. He didn't really talk to her. It was the beginning of the game. And when they came and showed it after, it showed that he did, but he just walked past like he didn't acknowledge her. And I said, wait, I done seen these guys on TV commercials together. I forget the insurance, I think it was. They was doing that. They did it together. Remember?
The Aflac.
Yeah. And I said, okay, what's going on here? So nothing happened. Now he acts crazy afterwards, talking about, before that, let's forget about after the game. He got interviewed, I think it was going into the fourth quarter or something. He's saying, can you believe this? this coach over here saying all kind of things. You hear the language she used, the bluff.
That's it.
And I'm
That's it.
laughing and saying, I done heard all of y'all use language. I done heard it from the sidelines many times watching the games. Him, Pat had something. And most coaches do use some. They go after the refs
definitely.
in different way. So for him to bring that up, that made me think, you're trying to lower her. Why are you doing that? Because your team is not winning.
They weren't winning.
And he reminded me of a spoiled brat.
Yep.
I'm not winning, so give me my ball and bat, and I'm going home. Because he didn't like what was going on. Now, I didn't see that same energy last year when he beat South Carolina by, I think it might be like 28 points.
Yeah.
I didn't see that because they faltered. They were sticking close in that game, but they didn't have the intensity that they had last night. And the thing about it, UConn was a better team this year than they was last year. And
They were undefeated this year, yeah.
And the intensity level of South Carolina was just completely different. They were just locked in.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe him acting like it might be time for him to wrap it up. He probably won't.
No.
I'm sure he won't. He wants to come back and be the kingpin all the time, you know.
Here's the breakdown on Gino. He's 72 years old. He just turned 72 March 23rd of this year. So he just turned 72. He's got 12 NCAA Division I championships, 25 Final Fours, 24 Big East. He's been coaching there at UConn since 1985. So we're looking at 40, probably if you had 42 years, 41, 42 years there. Hall of Fame coach. I mean, I could go on and on. His resume is through the roof. You know, maybe the greatest women's coach of all time. You could get into, you know, Pat Summitt, though. You mentioned her. Dawn Staley's going in that direction.
I can't think of the other one.
There's a few other great
coaches.
women AA coaches. Just, you know, again, you could list. I could look through top 10, and you know, you've got them out there. Again, Pat Summitt, rest in peace.
Yeah,
died at a very young age from Alzheimer's, but rest in peace, Pat Summitt. Fantastic coach. As Dawn Staley is now getting into the discussion of one of the greatest women's coaches. Definitely, you can't. You know, she's got South Carolina there every year.
Right.
You know, Gino's in the mix. The other Kim Mulkey is another great coach in the women's. Always
he's a great player and
competitive.
Coach.
Great. Yeah.
Same thing with Dawn. Great player.
Dawn, right.
And then you know, great coach. So.
And I think the lady that coaches Duke. Oh, I think.
Oh yeah, she played.
I think
at
she
Duke
played
too.
for Duke.
Yes, she did. I can't think of her name, but she's moving that way.
Because I saw her, and I said, I was trying to think.
Yeah, she used to play, and she was
Kara Lawson.
Yep,
I knew that's who it was.
Yep.
I saw her, and I knew. I think her last name is Lawson. When I was looking at her, and she played.
Oh yeah, she played.
She was a good player. Kara Lawson. Now she's younger.
Right.
She's only 45, and she's just starting to get in. She played for Tennessee, and then she played for the Detroit Shock in the WNBA. So I know she just kind of is getting. She was actually an assistant with the Boston Celtics from 2019 to 2020, and then she's been Duke head coach since 2020. So she's just starting to get into the coaching, and I could see she's got Duke playing good, and that's good for women's college basketball because they need a little bit more parity because it's always the same teams.
Yeah.
But it's good that you do have some teams out there that are going to start to compete and make it a little bit more competitive.
Yeah. Well, I see great recruits going to Duke. I see Ohio State has a good recruiting class for their women's basketball. That's another big Minnesota in the Big Ten. That's another one that's good in women's basketball. So they're coming around. The one that shocked me that they were coming around, but their whole team, just almost the whole team, is in the portal, and that's Iowa State.
Okay.
And the big girl they had, oh my God! You look at her and say, how can she play? She looks overweight. Oh, she just dominates, and she's the first one to go in the portal because it must have been something with the coach or something because they had their team was thought to be going to the Final Four. How good they was. They were ousted early, so their whole team went into the portal. So they probably be all over the place, and she'll probably go to one of the bigger schools. You might say I didn't see Connecticut on the list, but I did see Duke as one of the teams. I did see Ohio State, Iowa. That's another team that's always good. I don't want to leave them out. And even since Caitlin Clark left Iowa, they still are a very, very good basketball team. So you're right. They're starting to get these schools together and making that a more viable option to watch. And and like we said, the skill level was great to watch last night.
Oh yeah,
I mean you've seen that, but I was disappointed in the guy though. See, I knew we got upset him years ago. That's been years ago, like 20-something years ago, on another network, and thinking about getting upset about. But it was the same thing, getting frustrated because now another coach is starting to show that they can contend with you. Right. Play heads up, and that's what, and not to be pun, but that was what Pat Head Summit did. Right. She showed it back then that we're coming,
right?
And he didn't like it.
And that's the thing. I mean, but it was kind of interesting when they stuck the mic in his face during the game, and then he went off, saying Dawn.
The language.
Yeah, the language.
And did you hear that? And they're not calling it Mike.
And they're not. I'm not getting the calls. Dawn Staley's language I can't even say, which she's yelling at the referees. And I'm thinking to myself, have you been around like some of the? Look at some of the football coaches.
Oh, come on,
man! I mean, I used to see. I mean, I read books about Woody Hayes.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. I was just getting ready to say he's whining about that. Well, then let's throw Woody. Let's throw Bobby Knight way up under the bus.
Shem Beckler, no doubt.
Oh, Bo.
I bet.
You could read his lips easy what he was saying all the time. Sometimes you could hear you would hear them. Come on. He going to talk about language. That's just what coach. And I've heard him, like I said, I heard him go off before on the refs. Oh, and I was like, whoa. But it was a game, and I could understand he went off on him. But to really take another coach and try to bury him like that, really you are attacking their character. And
I mean, sometimes I'm not a real big fan of them interviewing these coaches during the game. I don't see the point in that. And in a way, it's just you're getting them, and they have to control. If they're in the game and they're obviously emotional and they've been yelling and screaming at the referees and players, and you know how they are, and then to stick a mic in their face during a game, it's like they have to. You're doing. It's a car doing 70 miles an hour. Now all of a sudden you have to almost get it down to about 25 miles an hour, and then you have to kind of compose yourself, be somewhat professional, and at least not really say what you want to say because after all you're on TV. But he did not. He had no filter. He said exactly what was on his mind. During the game, he comes off looking bad.
Yeah.
But then he continues like he should have just said at the end of the game, hey, look, it was a game. We got beat. Hats off to
never gave her any credit.
Give her all the credit. Say, look, I got out coached tonight. You know, he could have done the John Shire. I got out coached by Syracuse coach
like
Jerry McNamara. His team was ready. We were not. We were lucky to win the game, but I got out coached, and I didn't have the team prepared right. And obviously Syracuse did. And hats off to him. And we won, but I got to give him props. All Gino could have said, he should have forgot about the handshake thing. Forget that. Just don't even bother with that. That's stupid anyway.
Right.
Nobody cares about that. Just say, I got out-coached tonight. I give Dawn Staley a lot of props. South Carolina beat us fair and square. And
yeah,
I got to
like
get better.
They cheated the way he talked.
Right. And then,
he used that handshake, but it sounded like he was
Oh.
the rest was for them.
Right.
They cheated. They used tactics.
Right.
No, they didn't.
No, they got.
I didn't see them playing like nasty
You got
rough.
beat.
Yeah.
You got beat.
Yeah.
All I saw last night was the better team won the game. You got outplayed,
That's all.
out hustled, and Carolina made more shots than your team could. UConn couldn't make any, they couldn't see there was a lid on the basket. We'll get to the second game here. There was a lid on that basket for that second game between UCLA and Texas, because even the UCLA coach apologized for she was funny. What did she say? I apologize for such not a lousy game, but that was just a defensive game that nobody could make shots,
Right.
low scoring, physical game, not a pretty game, an ugly game. Maybe she got to apologize for an ugly game, but you won. That's all that counts. And it was an interesting game because it was just two teams probably were a little tight, and they couldn't, and it seemed to be a lid on the basket, and they couldn't make shots, but it was a knockdown, drag out. Still a good game to watch. I thought it was pretty interesting. And again, UCLA won. So they go on, they beat Texas, and they will play South Carolina tomorrow at 3:30. That's on cable. That's on ABC TV. So you get to watch that game. I'm looking forward to that game.
And I'm glad to watch the Final Four, both men and women.
Yes.
To watch this like this. This
is
showed,
perfect.
Yeah, because that was competitive nature, but that I just hated that came off like that because of a great game.
Yeah, it was.
And I could be upset as a coach, but let's just let this moment go.
Right.
And I agree 1,000% with you about sticking the mic in the coaches.
Yeah.
I think they can do that, but not with the head coach.
Yeah.
It should be your assistant. They
where-
can be right there. He can come over and talk to you. What we trying to do, our philosophy, blah 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 blah. But not with the head coach. He's got too many things going
you
on.
can see, right. And the thing is, unless they say something like that, it's really they're going to get you
They
never
say the
learn
same stuff.
They don't tell you anything anyway.
Right.
They give you if you ever hear those coaches interviews, they say it's like they have a
obvious
book.
stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the book that here it is. I got my canned phrases, and they don't even sometimes if you ever do this, if you watch and listen to them, they don't even answer the question. They give you a canned answer, and then it's not even what you ask, because they've got that. That's it doesn't matter what you're going to ask them. They're giving you this answer anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, they just changed the wording around.
Right.
It's the same thing though. It basically what they be saying is
Right.
it's the same
It's
thing.
same
It's just
thing.
different wording
Right.
sometimes. But it's
No, it doesn't.
They don't got time. They're ready to go to
Right.
the locker room or
Right.
get back over here. They don't want to,
Yeah,
discuss
and
this.
you always know they're mad at the refs because they sit there and mouth the refs the whole day. All the coaches are sitting
All
there
game
working
long.
the refs.
And I don't understand doing that because it messes with because the coach got to try to come down so he could be, reasonable on air to be talking correctly. So now he got to try to temper everything down, and then get back into it. No, just let him roll like he's doing. Have an assistant or somebody else that's designated for that. If you're going to do interviews, it's too much. It's too much, especially in the tense part of the game. That if we had something like that, you never hear Gino going off the way he did. Not over the air like that. At least you wouldn't have. But it's going to be that way for the long. They think that is so great. And I watched after the game. I never knew Holly. She was doing the sideline reporting.
Holly Rowe.
Rowe. Man, if you got it on tape, all you got to do is go back when the game was over.
Yeah.
She's got to get out there to interview.
Yeah.
That lady can run.
Yeah, Holly.
She was in high heels, dressed. She was moving people all out of the way. They was trying to get on the court. She was gone, elbowing people out the way.
She got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah.
She
got
knows.
right there. And she's a tough lady because she's been through it. Somebody's a cancer survivor.
Oh yeah.
And everything of that nature.
Holly Rowe's been.
Man, I seen her shot across. I said, oh, my goodness,
they
can
should
she
give
run?
her a medal. Yeah. She's one of
Good
the
reporter.
best.
Yep.
And
I glad
professional, great.
And Dawn, I was wondering, was she going to say something, but she didn't.
No.
Nope, she just did it the correct way and just said she just didn't like her integrity being attacked.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
what
blame
she
her
said.
there.
You know, you're attacking my integrity,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I would never do nothing like anything to hinder this game. Blah. And that's why I said, I remember they showed before, he the one that, and I can't even say he did. He could have been mine on something else. I'm not going to go against it. He could mine on something. He did shake, but he was like, it's like I walk past you, don't really acknowledge you. I know you there, so I put my hand out, grab it, and just keep going. That was it, and that's all he did. He didn't really, hey, any pleasantries, you know, how's the family? You know, some coaches do that. No, he didn't do that. Now, how many times we've seen that happen? Matter of fact, let's take the coach they want to call the greatest of all time in Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He hardly even shakes some guys' hand. Sometimes he don't even shake them.
No, he doesn't.
He'll go over there and look at them and just go ahead.
No, he doesn't.
But
always.
Everybody makes a big deal. He don't want to make a big deal about she didn't shake, and that's not true. Both of them just went right past, grabbed hands, and just kept going. Nobody really talked about anything. So
I mean,
I'm intense. I'm in this game and ready to go.
Nobody cares about the handshake. I don't care if they do it or not. Nobody. I mean, who cares? I mean, seriously, I watch a game. All that is sometimes is theater.
Right.
You know, like I said, then there was the time. Then there's the people. You know, people that like controversy. What was the time Schwartz and Harbaugh almost got into a fisticuffs?
Oh yeah.
Jim Schwartz.
I forgot
was
about
coaching
that.
Detroit. Harbaugh was coaching, I think, the Niners at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh and Schwartz come across, and you could see they're kind of cut of the same cloth. They're both a little edgy.
Right.
And they kind of shook, and they kind of got a little rough with the hand, and they bumped shoulders, and somebody thought, hey, these guys might get they might get into it.
Yeah.
On the handshake going across the field. But, at the end of the day, I was just looking up great coaches. Dawn Staley in the discussion. Her overall record is 682 and 193. She coached at Temple from 2000 to 2008, and then she went over to South Carolina in 2008 and has been there since 2008. So do the math. I guess that's 18, going on 18 years as head coach of South Carolina. And she's put them on the map. Dawn Staley's a great coach.
Yep.
She's 55 years old. So she's got a few more years under her belt to be coaching. She's from Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. So. She's from North Philly.
Yeah, she's from North Philly. She's, great coach. And she's got South Carolina in a position to win another title. So hats off to Dawn Staley. And she's going to have to go against UCLA. And this is the first time the women UCLA has ever been to a final and an NBA and a basketball final.
Yeah.
Think of all those years with John Wooden, but the women UCLA
had
never made it. So that game last night was a teams, like I talked briefly, you could see the teams were tight. It was a physical game. And it came a situation they just couldn't make any shots.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was something with tightness. They just seen a great game played right before them.
Yeah,
and you could even see that tightness when they were showing the end of South Carolina game, and they were showing UCLA warming up in the hallways. They was running back and forth and they showed Texas. They just looked like somebody that's like trying to get that tightness off. I'm nervous, and that's okay. Nervous energy is okay, but it just seemed like it stayed that way because they're big-time players like Booker. They don't be missing like that. She just doesn't miss, but nothing was going down. Nothing.
Corey Close is the women's head basketball coach at UCLA. Did a great job last night. They won 51-44. We'll get back, talk more sports after a quick timeout here on Western Reserve Radio.
If I could be you.
And you could be me? For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some,
that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
Lena's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8532.
If you want to stay on top of your health, one simple thing to do
is take the pledge to go and get screened for the cancers that might affect you.
So stand up, cancer, and take the pledge at GetScreenedNow.org.
It only takes a minute to take care of yourself, and nothing rhymes with org.
Talk to your doctor about your health and screenings that are right for you.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. Yeah, UCLA, Texas, the second game was a defensive struggle, or I should say it was a defensive game and an offensive struggle. My 51-44 UCLA did prevail. Corey Close is the head coach for UCLA women's head basketball coach. She's been there since 2011. She also spent time as an assistant coach at Florida State and her alma mater, UC Santa Barbara. So she also played for UC Santa Barbara and was a captain during 1992 and 1993 seasons. She's 54 years old. So congratulations to Corey Close in UCLA. And hopefully have a good game tomorrow at 3:30. Now that's not on at night, that's during the day at 3:30. So that'll give you something to watch since there's NBA's wrapping up. We're going to get to that too. I was looking at the NBA, and then we got the men's college tonight. But UCLA did beat Texas last night in an offensive struggle or defensive game, and 51-44. And UCLA was better team. Texas just UCLA got up early, and then they kind of stayed up, but Texas came in and made it a game. So it was a very competitive game to watch, though. It just wasn't a pretty game to watch, and Corey Close did apologize, I believe she said, for an ugly game, but I don't care. I like watching basketball anyway. Sometimes it does get a little ugly.
Yeah, it's like that in all sports.
Yeah, you get those games.
People say, hey, it's an ugly win. Some games are like
that. They are an ugly win.
But it's still a win
win-win
nonetheless, so...
I mean, how many times I can't count the times the Giants won ugly games. I was happy.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't care.
You get through it. It's not what you wanted to see or something to write home about, but you got the W, and now you work on your next game and try to get that to the perfection that you want it to be at. That's all. But
no, she's done a great job. She was Corey Close this year. She was 36-1 this year. Last year, she got to the Final Four. She was 34-3. So she's really elevated the team. But I'm looking at her coaching record at UCLA. She started off, obviously, taking over a program 14-16. Had a couple rough another year. She went 26-8 her second year and 13-18 the third year. But then after that, she's pretty much got it going.
Mm-hmm.
She's
she'll
had
keep
winning
recruiting and getting the players they want. You know, and that's that's the key. And South Carolina's done that. We know Connecticut most of the time get all the players.
He gets the monopoly on the best players. That's the other thing you have. It's like the old UCLA with John Wooden.
Mm-hmm.
They always had the best players, and ultimately Wooden won all those titles.
And that's why I give these other schools, when I see them knock teams like that off, you got to give the other coach a great compliment of being able to coach their team up and be able to do it. But they don't want to, sometimes you see people, as Gino did then, really just bring back that memories of how he was with Pat Head Summit. I never seen Pat Head Summit act like that when she lost. She always was, forthcoming and giving a good explanation to the other team and congratulations, whatever. That we wasn't ready, and sometimes they won't even do that because that sometimes even a comment like that takes away from the other team's excellence. If hey, they beat us, they were the better team tonight, and leave it at that. A lot of times people don't pay attention to that. Just we wasn't ready to play, we came in, or we had players sick. See, those is underhanded sound bites to take away from the other team's win. If you, I used to listen to stuff like that. When they say things like that, I say, oh, they disrespect us. They don't give us no credit that, hey, we won.
Yeah.
You make underlying comments to really say the only reason you won is because, instead of just saying we were the better team. And people do that a lot too. You have to watch those little underhanded. That's why players come back the next time they be ready to try to do some things to teams. Yeah, because it's underhanded comments.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, come on. Gino. Gino's getting old. He's 72.
Yeah.
So he's not going anywhere either. He's going to be back because he's going to want another title.
Mm-hmm.
So, but probably get it. I mean, he recruits. He gets the best players.
Right.
He went 38-0 going in last night. He was undefeated, then lost. So he was 38-1. He finished the season, got into the Final Four, but got beat.
Yeah, and I mean, they beat him by double digits, I believe. The final
It
score.
was. The final score last night's game was, we just had it up here. Anyway, what was the, we were here. It was 62-48.
Right, 14 points.
14 points.
So,
UCLA was 51-44, and they were 60. South Carolina was 62. UConn 48. And again, watching the game, they were cruising. I thought South Carolina was in control. They were up by 10, and then UConn hit three pointers and cut it to 1. But then South Carolina went back up again, got up about 5, and then they were just kind of in that range, playing with UConn. They had that lead. UConn just could never
get over that hump.
Get over the hump, and then South Carolina did pull away. And they were, like you said, Dawn Staley, coach, congratulations, had them ready to go. And
let's have them ready to go. And that's all Gina had to say, because
just to say
don't talk about the refs,
no,
because now you're taking away from the team. You're talking about
come on.
My jersey, man. I watched the game. I think that was college, or was it pro? And maybe you've seen it too. I forgot who it was, where the player was at the line, and they was talking about he got fouled, and his jersey was tore all the way off, where the numbers was at.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that this past week? I can't remember who it was that was playing. And I can't remember if it was NBA.
Right.
And they say, well, we know that was a foul. Look at his jersey. It was hanging off. Now, those things happen because they do grab jerseys. But is that the reason they won?
No.
That they were grabbing jerseys, holding people the entire game, and the refs didn't. Now you're even attacking the refs' integrity.
Yeah, well,
and then you're not wanting to give Don any or their team any recognition. I mean, it's just terrible. When I look at it, really is. I mean, I done seen it twice now, so it makes me think for sure he is who he is. When he's winning, he's fine, and then you don't want to hear anybody.
Yeah, he's not good.
The
with
sore
that.
loser.
Yeah, that's what he is.
He's a sore loser.
That's sad.
Gino is. Come on, Gino. You know better.
And you're winning all the time.
Just do the high road.
Just
take the high road. Hey, you know what? And forget the handshake thing. Just congratulate her.
So that made him win.
Right.
Let's say she did.
You guys
just ignored him and didn't have.
Yeah, just
come on.
Give her the Just I like the coaches. Like Andy Reid was always the one. With Philadelphia all those years, they would, hey Andy, no, my fault. I got out coached. I didn't have the coaches ready to get the team ready, so it falls on me. Or sometimes he goes, we didn't get the team ready. And it falls on the coaching staff, but I'm over the coaching staff, so it's my responsibility.
Yes.
So he always took, or congratulations to the team. They beat us. Good coach, blah, blah, so-and-so head coach did a great job tonight. And I like John Shire. I got out-coached. Right, I got out-coached tonight. I won, but I got out-coached.
Yeah.
I didn't have the team ready. They did. I was lucky. We were lucky to win this game, but that one's on me.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate when coaches basically say, other news out there, we didn't talk at all last week about Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Look, it's simple. Don't drive. Don't drive. If you've got pain, Tiger, which you do, of all that injuries and your operations, I could pull up the number. It's double digits operations. All the operations Tiger's had and then he almost lost his leg in that one.
Oh,
That's his 3 incidents with car.
Mm-hmm.
He had the DUI the first time with the Mercedes, and then he got the wreck. They didn't even test him when he fell asleep and rolled it over.
Right.
People think he was probably on some kind of narcotic then. Who knows? We don't know. And then the latest incident from a couple weeks ago, where you were rolling over. Sadly, this is a reality, is we talk about it on the show when we close the show. Do not drink, do not drive, stay sober. When you're behind a wheel, you can't. If you're on any kind of pain medication, that's fine. Get an Uber. Get a designated driver. Don't drive a car because, i.e., you may kill yourself or you may kill an innocent person. That's simple. I don't care if you're a billionaire or not. It's a simple rule in life. If you're going to basically take your pain medication that clouds your brain because you're in pain, all right, I understand that. But you can't drive a car. It's simple. Get a driver. I know he says, well, I don't want a driver because it's an intrusion on my privacy. Well, get over that because you can't drive your car when you're on your pain medication.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. He's going to, I'm sure he has to take it. Well, I don't want to say has to take it, but choose to take it because he's having so much pain. And that could be happening, but you can't be driving. And if you do drink something and take that, you're in really bad shape. Yeah.
But the bottom line is this: if you have severe pain, I understand that because people do, and sometimes you can have pain that won't go away until you don't want to be all day in pain, sitting there and not have any relief from that. That's horrible.
Right.
So you have to take some kind of pain medication. Okay, I get that. But obviously, with Tiger's, the pain medication is influencing how he drives. So you can't drive a car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got to
you can't operate a vehicle.
Because he done seen this happen in a short period of time over and over, and you're not going to always keep getting another chance. So you just have to you have to change
because you're rolling the dice, and you said it. Ultimately, down the road, you may kill an innocent person or you may kill yourself. When you get behind the wheel of a car and you're basically, under the influence of pain medication or any other drug, you cannot operate a motor vehicle under the influence or you're going to kill somebody or kill yourself or both.
Right.
And that's the sad part of this is I don't care if he's a billionaire or what. It's income has got nothing to do with it.
No.
And whether or not you're a celebrity or not, it's got nothing to do with it.
No. It can attack anyone, so
you
just got to think of things logically. And I just said, when they did the blood alcohol instead of it was 0-0.
No, he wasn't
you
drinking.
Knew, right. He had no kind of, so you knew it was some type of.
Because he wouldn't do a urine test.
Right. And they got that, some kind of law, I forgot what it is out there too, that they can bypass taking that test, but then still the situation, they're going to eventually have to do some kind of testing to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
But initially, he doesn't have to take that. I forgot that I heard it last night, and I said, oh, it's a law for it. That's why he refuses and he can do that. But, man, he knows. He knows.
Yeah.
That's why he said, hey, he's got to step aside. He should have been did that anyway. All the time he was off, he should have just stepped aside, and if you want to get back into golf and do so, if
fine.
not, just retire.
Right.
Just retire and don't even golf no more. I mean, but I understand you feel you can still do it, but you got to do it reasonably. You can't drive.
You can't drive.
Yeah.
You can't
operate anything.
No, you really can't.
You shouldn't be operating any kind of equipment.
No.
Even equipment. Don't even, nothing.
No, when you actually start seeing equipment, like, a lot of depending on what equipment you have, they actually say do not operate this like a chainsaw.
That's right. That's what I was going to say.
Or trimming, if you're trimming your bushes with an electric.
Even cut your arm off.
Right, you could, you can maim yourself real easy.
Yep.
So it says if do not operate machinery, blah blah blah.
Yep.
If you're under the influence of any kind of alcohol, pain medication, marijuana, etc.
Yeah.
You can't be, and that's the other thing now is that people say that marijuana being legal, but you can't drive your car. That doesn't mean I could. No, you can't. If you want to take marijuana, once you're altered, you can't be driving a vehicle,
right,
or operating heavy machinery, because things can happen.
Yeah.
So that covered with a Tiger situation. I think he's gone across. I've heard Switzerland, where he's going to be doing rehab.
Yeah,
he's leaving the country.
Yeah, I was sure that going to happen. He's not going to do it around here.
Well, again,
but it's still they're going to.
The rehab doesn't. I mean, it matters, but we're coming back to the premise of you can't drive your vehicle if you're on pain medication that can, make you so. I mean, you might have issues with your pain. Then maybe you need to get medication that doesn't cloud your brain and doesn't affect the way you would drive a vehicle, too.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure that out on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the pain won't go away, I'm sure, because of all the surgeries you've had. But then you've got to figure out how you can't really operate a vehicle. Right. Now, the only thing is that he goes to a judge. A judge might basically say, look, Tiger, you're done. You can't drive a vehicle for so many years, period.
Mm-hmm.
Might take his driving privileges away from him and say, you're done driving. So,
well, I mean, it's going to be, I think that will be a thought, because some of these, not some of them, these accidents have been some severe things that could have ended his life for someone else.
The last one he had where he rolled that vehicle down in California. Right.
Yeah.
He's
and
like
he
he's got his
high
leg.
rate of speed on those corners.
Yep. And he lost control and was down in a ravine. He's lucky he's not dead.
Yeah, I know when I first seen that when I went to California, and then when I got married, my wife went with me. She said, I can't believe we're on these hills and there's no guardrails.
No, there's none.
I said, no. I said, a lot of them are like that. You got other places, but a lot of them is just if you go over the side, you're done. You're just going down the cliff.
You're going down a ravine, down a cliff.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. I said, that's why you just got to take your time around there. Sometimes I didn't even really want to drive in certain hill areas of California because they are like that. Roads don't have no rails,
no
nothing.
rails. You got to be so careful out there. You really do.
Yeah.
Now, other news out there, Cooper Flagg became the youngest player ever to score 50 points. 50-point game for Cooper Flagg. So even though Dallas is way out of the playoffs this year, he's been a bright spot as they build that team and put it together. They did fire the GM earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Still over the Luka trade.
Right.
And Luka's not in good shape here. Luka will miss the rest of the regular season, which is really only a week.
Right.
Because he's got a hamstring injury. The question now is coming down to it is a grade 2. The question's going to be coming down. Luka will get this week off and the following week off because the Lakers are not in the play-in tournament. they're just trying to, it looks like they're going to be the 3 seed potentially. We'll pull that up, but they're in the playoffs. So they don't have to worry about the play-in tournament. Where does that translate? If you're a Laker fan, is Luka will get another week to get his hamstring ready to go. They revealed it as a grade 2 left hamstring strain. And that can be really problematic. Now it says here, according to this, it says usually a grade 2 hamstring strain typically involves a month-long recovery. But the Lakers did not provide a timetable for Luka when he comes back. So he will be out really till now until the playoffs begin April 18th. So the playoffs, for the record, NBA playoffs start April 18th. Today's the 4th.
Right.
So in 2 weeks, the playoffs start 2 weeks from today. So the regular season wraps up. April 12th is the last day for the regular season. Then the play-in tournament is that Tuesday, the 14th. And then I think that can go through Friday. Then the play-in starts Saturday. So that's what you got going on in the NBA. Is Luka will be out. I saw that game, too. They were getting beat badly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they were getting beat by
OKC.
30, 40 points by
OKC.
And thinking, why was he in the game? Get him on the bench.
Yeah.
I
mean,
they weren't ever. That was just a bad game. And
yeah.
You got to just write that, get him. But
and everybody's writing them off. They're terrible. But it'd be funny though, because I see those same people saying, "Oh, we got to watch them now. These Lakers are hot." Then soon something doesn't happen,
then they go the other way.
Yeah, they go. Cracks me up, man. They could be dangerous, but no, I didn't think they're. I'm still gonna go with OKC as a team as they can continue to get healthy, completely healthy. That team, when it's on all cylinders, it's really tough to beat. Now, you got teams that are going to aggravate them. San Antonio and Denver and all of they will aggravate that team. And if they get on the road, they could be dangerous, any of those teams. But, OKC seems to have the right nucleus to get through it. But you do have to watch out for teams like a San Antonio, like a Denver.
Well, where you got now in the NBA is, you're right. Right now, the Lakers are holding on to the 3rd spot by 1 game over Denver and 2 games over Houston. So it's Oklahoma City has got the 1st spot, but they don't have it wrapped up.
Right.
Because they're only 2 games over the Spurs. And the Thunder basically and the Spurs have basically played 77 games. They have 5 left. So there's 5 games left. Thunder have a 2-point lead over the Spurs for the number 1 spot. So the Spurs are not out of it for getting the number 1 seed. But, they've got the number 2 seed locked up. The Spurs do. The Lakers are sitting at the 3rd spot, but they're right now only a game better than Denver, who's sitting at 4, and they're only a game better than Houston at 5. So right there between 3 and 5, it's pretty tight. So that can change. And that seeding could maybe impact how that's going to go.
Right.
So they have to, right now is, okay, City's going to obviously continue to play hard because they want the number 1 seed.
Right.
And no matter what people say, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's still the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Now, what will be interesting, and we'll get more into this in detail, looking at that Western Conference playoffs picture, which is going to get really, I think, could be really interesting because you've got the Thunder, the Spurs sitting at 2, the Lakers, depending now with Luka, obviously they're going to hopefully get him back, and will he be 100%? That's going to be your question, but you can't rule out the Nuggets.
Right.
Because you can never rule out the Joker and then you got Murray on that team.
Mhm.
That team could be a dangerous team in the playoffs.
Yep.
Then the Rockets with Durant, again, you never know what they're going to do in the playoffs.
One of the bigger teams that
Yeah.
is out there, starting team that could give you all kind of issues. So
Right.
you don't know what could happen.
You don't know what you have there. But
Right.
the West, and then you got Minnesota sitting at number 6. And technically, right now, the Phoenix Suns are sitting at 7. But they're 4 games behind Minnesota. Minnesota, again, has 5 games. They both have 5 games left. I don't think Phoenix is going to catch Minnesota.
No.
So Phoenix will end up they'll have probably have the 7th seed in the West, and that means they will play the Portland. Looks like they'll be, I don't know yet because the Trailblazers are sitting at 8, and they're only a half a game over the Clippers, who are 9. Looks like Golden State's going to be at 10 and stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a 34-41 record, so Golden State will be the 10 seed. But they're in because Minnesota and the Pelicans and Dallas and the Kings are out of it. So it's set there,
Right.
as it is in the East. We'll get to the East too. But what's going to be great this year with the NBA playoffs, I think, is you're going to have some good interest. We'll get to the East. But the West, I think, is just you've got maybe 4 or 5 teams there. You get an argument. Could they win it? I still think it's Oklahoma City to lose it, but don't rule out the Spurs and Wemby, and you never rule out the Joker,
Right.
and Denver.
Yep.
And then the Rockets with Durant, I wouldn't rule them out either.
Right.
And then the Lakers, the only thing that hurts Lakers now, if Luka was healthy, I wouldn't really rule them out because they could be a wild card too. But with him being hurt with a hamstring, which is a very bad injury because that has a tendency to just linger, and that could drive the player. He might be ready to play, but he's not 100%.
Right.
As you've played with those, you know that is an absolutely...
And that, the thing about that, you could tell he definitely took care of his body this year, but how well is his stretching? You know, his body is in shape, but does he stretch continuously to make sure? Because getting these kind of hamstring injuries late in the season, is he overworked and not stretching? It could easily happen, and that's what I think. He's not stretching like he needs to, because that was early in the game when that happened.
Yep.
You know, but the thing about it, when that happens, it's not because it happened just then. It was already flared from games back. But if you're going game after game, back-to-backs a couple times and not stretching right, it could flare up on you, and that's what happened. So maybe it's not as severe, and those 2 weeks will do him justice to be able to come back. But you don't need a guy that has defensive inefficiencies to be even slower with hamstring situations. So
No, because then
Yeah. And they have been playing pretty good defense.
Yeah, they have been.
Team defense, but it's going to be tough for them. It's going to be tough for them.
Lakers are 8-2 in their last 10 games, but the Spurs are 10-0 in their last 10, and OK City's 9-1. Those teams are basically playing to win.
Yeah.
They're not tanking like NBA. They talk about not those teams. They are
No, because
playing.
they feel let's win and stay on that roll right on into the playoffs.
Yep.
You know, you've seen how it means. See, Wembley it's like he was like the old time guys. When he seen a game in the regular season, he was frustrated of losing it.
Yeah, he wants to win every game.
Every game he wants to win it.
He's old school.
Yeah.
He's like Jordan was that way.
Yeah. We don't want to lose any game.
Michael Jordan played every game like it was for an NBA title.
Allen Iverson. That's the guy. He might not won a title, but boy, he played every game like it was his last one.
He did. Maybe he didn't like practice, but he played every game.
He might not like it.
No.
But he sure enough played them games and didn't get injured.
Saturday morning sports page. We got an hour in the books. 2 more hours to go.
Yep.
Back after this on Western Reserve Radio.
You're listening to WRDB, Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, Warren, Salem, and around the world.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit TAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team Pride Cobras.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to join the legacy? This is your chance to become part of something special with the Youngstown Patricians. Honoring the proud football tradition of the Valley, we're on the lookout for talented post-high school athletes who want to make their mark on the field. Whether you're a seasoned high school athlete, college, or former professional player, develop your skills and become part of a team that values hard work, dedication, and community spirit. Don't wait. Begin your path to the gridiron by visiting youngstownpat.com or contacting us on Facebook at the Youngstown Patricians. Be bold, be legendary, join the Youngstown Patricians today.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
One of the greatest, Patrick Ewing. Talking about Patrick Ewing off air, he was on Mad Dog Russo this past week doing a fantastic interview, and just a great guy, and real personable. Had good stories. You know, he and Larry Bird, good friends.
Mm-hmm.
He said not initially when they were in the league, but as they went to the 92 Olympics, they became pretty good friends, and as they played one another. He said, but Larry Bird always talked trash.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing with Bird, and I watch these little snippets, the players were saying, like, the trash that he talked, he would tell you what he was going to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then said, I'm going to go over to the corner, take that jump shot, and then I'm going to make that shot, and you can't stop me. And he said the players laugh in a way. That's the kind of trash he talked. I mean, he never said anything personal. No. He just, on the court, he just told you what he was going to do.
Yeah.
And then he would do it, though. And, like Cornbread Maxwell said, well, yeah, it was arrogance, but it's not really because he did it. Like John Sally said the same thing.
Right.
He
he said he was going to do it, and then he
did it.
Yeah.
And he just always talked trash.
Right.
And that's what he always said, though. He was always talking like, I'm going to score this basket. We're going to beat you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a fadeaway. I'm going to make this shot.
Mm-hmm.
And he did.
Yep.
And it was so funny because him and Isaiah would talk. Anytime he told Isaiah, he said, Isaiah, he goes, you can't put Benson on me. He goes, come on. Because they were playing Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to Isaiah, he called him cheesy. He always called Isaiah cheesy. He goes, come on, cheesy. You're not putting Benson on me. And then they put Tripucka on him. And he goes, he lit those guys up for like 50 points. And he said to Bird said to Isaiah, he goes, you can't put a white guy on me. He goes, you got to put a brother on me. He told Isaiah. Isaiah's laughing like hell. They're all talking about it. He was on a pod. Isaiah's talking about this with that one player, Barnes, the guy with a lot of tattoos.
Oh, yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he's funny.
Steven Jackson.
That's it, Steven. They're all on this. And Isaiah's,
Pivot, I think it's, I don't know if that's the Pivot.
It
I
might
forgot
be.
it is, but I know you're talking about those.
He had those guys.
Up in Smoke.
That's it.
That's it.
And Isaiah's telling those guys this story, and they're howling. They're like laughing hysterically. That he's still about like Bird was saying this to me, saying, "What are you doing?" And he goes, and then they put the one guy Hanslick from Denver. He goes, he's a defensive specialist, and I think Leighton was the Jazz. He was coaching. It was, and Bird goes to Leighton, the coach, and says, "Do you have anybody that can guard me?" And Leighton looked down the bench and goes, "No."
Yeah, he was funny too, Frank Leighton.
Frank Leighton.
Yep.
Yeah, because Frank was a character too.
Oh yeah, right. That's what I said.
He was kind of a character too. And he said, Bird goes to Leighton, "Don't you have anybody that can guard me?" He goes, Leighton looked down the bench. He goes, "No, we don't." And then there's that clip with Bird when they're playing Atlanta. Mm-hmm. If you ever see it, where he's just making every shot, and the guys on the Atlanta bench are all laughing. It was Bird's making the shot because he's like, he won't miss. And he goes, there's like three guys on the Atlanta end of the bench, and every time Bird makes a shot, they're like they're shaking their head and they're cracking up because nobody can guard him.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess the one coach, Fertella, was coaching. And he commented on it. He goes, "Yeah, I would have suspended those guys because they were like, they shouldn't be laughing as we're getting beat." And, granted, Bird's having a career day like you always seem to have. Mm-hmm. But he goes, "No, you're not supposed to be doing that." Like the guys were it was so funny because the Atlanta players just said nobody can touch him. Bird was just in this zone where he made every shot.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, that's just how he was. Big time scorer at all times.
Every time.
Yeah.
And they say that. He said that, the funny thing with Bird is he didn't have he wasn't like athletic. Like he didn't have this crazy athleticism.
Right.
But he said he could, the one guy said, one of the players said, Bird couldn't shoot, maybe wasn't the best shooter. He wasn't the best this, best that, but he was the best player. Mm-hmm. He just could make every shot. He was there. He was always there where the ball was. He'd make those passes behind his back. And, he did all that. And he said that, he and Parrish and McHale were just on a whole different level as far as when they played, you could see.
Yeah, and that's it. You had the right teammates to play with.
He had a group, core, and he loved DJ. Dennis Johnson was on a few of those teams, and he and DJ were just, again, they were all on a different level.
Oh, yeah.
When they played.
Yeah. Yep. In that era was something.
It was.
Basketball.
It was a great, Magic and Bird would go at it, but that was those series with the Lakers would go down.
Oh, yeah.
And the year they beat Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson in '86, that Celtic team, which may be one of the best teams of all time. That was a team Walton was on. Walton came off the bench because he still had those knees and ankles. He couldn't play long, but when he played, he was a great player.
Yeah.
And it was just like I said, that was a great team. And again, you had Parrish and McHale, and it was just and I think that was Casey Jones was the coach.
Yeah, yeah, yep. He was the coach of a lot of those teams through there.
Yeah,
Casey Jones. Yep.
He was, and it was great. It was just that when you see these stories about these old. Especially in the 80s. And everybody, see, the thing is, what hurts the NBA now is the load management thing. The players aren't playing all the games. But back then, they all played.
Yeah.
Like Robert Parrish, he was 42 years old. And there was a little bit of an article I read about him. And Robert Parrish basically said, I played because every game, because people wanted to see me play. And I would not think of not playing just to rest. There was nothing, we never had that. But I played because I thought people would want to see me play and would pay the ticket to get in and watch me. And if I can play, I'm out there playing. And I think his last year in the in the NBA, I think he was with the Charlotte Hornets in this article. Yeah, in 94 and 96, that wasn't even his last year because he played till 1996, 97 with the Chicago Bulls. But even in like his last few games, he played 82 games.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he was close, he was over 40 years old.
Yep.
Yeah, he was like 41 years old when he was with Charlotte, and he was playing 82 games.
Mm-hmm.
At 82. I mean, at 42 years old, he's out there playing 82 games.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing they knew. Is that you're supposed to play. If you're healthy, you play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas it's a given now that you get these, days off. You can have a day off, from a game. I heard of guys having a day off from practice, but you don't have to play today. I mean, they actually have that. So it's a big difference than the years past. Yes, everything is different. Guys could get a little bit more secluded and get ready for games back in the day because they didn't have all the media coverage and all the things that pull you 10 different ways. And that's another thing. They got to endure that, plus play these games. So I think when you look at it all the way around, it takes a lot away from them. And that's why they want these days off. It's not about, they say load management, but a lot of times I think they be tired.
See,
because they are required to every day do something with the media. It wasn't like that back in the day. You can go and rest and just.
I think it's a combination of that and I think these players today overtrain. Like, and this guy that was on, Pete Briscoe, who's been on, he's a guest on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. That's what he said. He says that with football. But I think you say that he goes, because he rattled off, goes, think about the season. And he goes, these guys are even off season. They're trained. They're going here. They got a mini camp. It's one thing after another. He goes, I don't think these guys let their bodies rest. And I think to the NBA, I think you said the media throw that what their requirements are. But then I think a lot of these guys in the off season, they're training. I think they need to stop.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, I don't think Bird and Magic and all those guys, Jordan, who knows, because he just probably played basketball nonstop. But I don't think they trained like they are in this day and age.
Yeah.
Some guys take it off, but some guys would play, but they had the time off.
Right.
Where it seems to me that this day and age, these athletes are constantly either training or they're doing something, and they're not like any downtime away from it.
Yeah, and they need that.
And they need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that impacts what they do today, which back in the day, they could do what they wanted to do in their off season.
Yeah.
And they were left alone. And I think that was a good thing. And these guys, and they played because they had to and they wanted to.
Yeah, you want the body to have a rest.
But I think I go back to football, especially with all these injuries.
Well, I mean, you can't work a muscle and then don't allow it to regenerate.
No.
Every time you work out, you're breaking the muscle down.
Right.
So it got to repair itself. Great mechanism that God made with our bodies that they can repair themselves. Right. But how can you when you continually breaking it down? So you got to have rest time and allow that to rebuild. So a lot of times that's what I'm saying. You got that. You got steady playing, some of them steady playing. Then you got all these obligations to the league that if you don't keep them, you get fined or other things happen to you. So it's so much. And I think that's what this load management is about. But I do think they need to do something with that, though.
Yeah, I mean they got to figure it out. I mean, I don't know what they're going to ultimately do.
Probably nothing. To be honest with you, because the one thing that the bottom line is the bottom line, and that's dollars and cents. And as long as it's bringing in positive dollars and cents, they're not going to look to change anything.
No.
The only way they change it, they'll change it if it's going to increase
money
coming in. whatever they can find out. But other than that,
well, this was brought up this week too. I've been hearing this is the NBA, not the NBA. The NFL is going to get to 18 games.
Yeah, it's getting there.
And
Sooner
people
than we think.
believe it's going to be this 27. So 26 this year. It won't happen this year, but it will happen in 27. But like people say, experts say, the players need to get something in return. They've got to get better with their, like the head of the association, negotiating and get, either get free agency cut a year and, cut back on getting to free agency a year earlier would be one thing. And then, definitely you got to have more players on the roster, 2 bye weeks.
Yep, all that got to come.
And, I know they're not big fans of the international play, but I think that the league, they're getting that. That's not going away.
Yeah, right. That's what I was going to say. No way. I don't think that's going anywhere. It'd be different if we was watching those international games when we see a half-filled stadium. Those stadiums would be sold out.
Yeah.
Packed. And I don't care if people saying, well, a lot of people travel over. Yeah, they do, but it still be that countries, people still come. That thing is loaded, and that's money. So they're not changing from that.
No, they're not. I mean, that's not going away.
No.
Even though people are concerned about going to cities that maybe not be safe.
Yeah. And they're going to have to think about it.
And
in this
player
time
safety,
that we're in.
yeah, especially now.
Yeah.
When you're reading about a lot of other countries.
Yeah.
That are not safe.
And now that
they've had problems
alienating ourselves with these, countries that were in union with us. Now we having friction.
Right.
All the things that's going on. You don't know where you're safe at now.
Right. And that's
some place you used to think we'll be okay there. I don't know. I don't know. So
no, that's the point. The point is they've got to. I know they want to go to all these different countries, and you brought up a good point. But then you have that, and then you have some of these countries just are not safe.
Right.
I mean, they've got problems internally with, safety.
Yeah.
And players are told, don't leave the hotel at night.
Right.
Don't go out. Because the streets are not safe.
Right. And the thing about that, and that's great to tell everybody, but I guarantee this, all of them are not going to follow that.
No.
Because that's just human.
And
way.
that's the problem you could potentially have in some of these foreign countries in these cities.
Yep.
They're just not safe.
Right. Yep.
So again, the NFL needs to look at that. I know Roger Goodell wants to go across all these different countries and do all these great things, and I get it, but you got to be careful because, again, you've got the player safety that could be potentially
that's some dangerous
risk.
stuff. They're going to really have to think about that, evaluate things as we go forward because some of these places is bringing in great money, but it's probably not going to be a safe thing for players. Like I said, they'll let them know you need to stay in, don't go out after this time, but that doesn't matter. Guys are guys. There's going to be somebody that's going to say, I'll be okay. I'll go out for a little bit. It's always going to be that. Every guy is not coming in at the curfew time.
And that's and that's the bottom line is you've got to be player safety still needs to be paramount and number one. Mm-hmm. And I know they're going to be going to different countries. I know they're upset because they're going to go out to Australia to play. And the problem there is the plane. I think the plane trip was it 16, 17 hours out there. And then obviously they get there after sitting on a plane for 16 and then they got to come back and get ready to play again when they get back.
Well, hopefully they'll know not to have a team like I think it was, I can't remember who it was, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, somebody that went and had to play.
I think it was Cleveland. Yeah, they went,
had to play.
And they had to play the next away.
Yeah. You just
Cleveland.
You can't do that. They got to have the bye. They have to.
You've got to get right. And so if they go to the 18 games, which we believe is going to happen, and it looks like
more money
next year, 27, because they haven't set the date on the Super Bowl yet. because people are now speculating that's the reason why there hasn't been a date.
Yeah, they wanted on that.
Set on the 20, it would be the 28th Super Bowl, February of 28, because they're going to have 18 games, and that's going to move that out.
And they can have that off day like they want now.
Yeah. You got to start with the extra week and the extra bye week, because they're going to have 2 bye weeks with 18 games.
Yeah, have to. Yeah. And definitely an expanded roster.
And expanded rosters.
I think they need an expanded roster.
But I think that anyway.
I definitely think so.
Because the way the injuries are.
It's too many.
And they're and these injuries, these ACL injuries in the NFL, I've just never seen that ever. I mean, I watched NFL forever.
Yeah.
You have too. We were watching it since the 60s. I just never remember players in the 60s, 70s, and even the 80s.
And you want to know how much stress they're under, though, is I don't remember. And then, media wasn't as fluid as it is now. But you don't remember guys getting injuries where it's non-contact all the time.
They could crumble.
These guys don't even be. Usually they got hit. It's just they could just be running to the sideline, bam, blow out the
Teddy
Achilles.
Bridgewater must have had one of the worst ACL tears in history, and no one touched him.
Yeah, no.
It was in practice.
Deshaun Watson at Houston
right.
was at practice running out. He threw the ball and he just ran out to avoid nobody hit him in anything.
Touch him
and tore it.
Yeah. Even Daniel Jones, when he had his injury this year, nobody really touched him.
No.
He just ran over and then he crumpled to the ground.
Yep. I mean, I can go back to a
You
guy.
could start going.
Even Dan Marino.
Right.
He tore his. He was just back in the pocket.
That was the Achilles
set,
tear. He just went. He went to plant.
Yeah.
And that was it. It popped.
Yeah. It's a different animal.
So.
It's a lot of stress with the workouts that they have
Right.
now. They have to do them. It's, it's just different, and it's a lot. That's a lot of stress on the muscles continuously. That's why we talked earlier. You got to rest.
You got to rest.
Have to.
I don't know what it is. It just seems to me. I know the players want to get bigger, stronger, and faster, but I think the price they're paying is their bodies will respond to that, and sometimes not good.
Yeah, and then you know what? You can get. There's all kind of ways you can get bigger. Now I'm not even talking about steroids. It's different supplements now you can use that are legal, and you can get bigger. But you know what? One thing that nobody can deny: God built your body to go to a certain limit. It's got limitations to where He says it is. We force it past those limitations, and that's when you get things that happen.
You can build the muscle, but you can't build the tendon.
That's the problem. You can, like you said, you build the muscle, but not the tendons don't build.
Yeah, you
and
can't do that.
They tear.
Yep.
And that's where you get all the problems with the tendons tearing, and then you got and then these guys are out here. I mean, it's like I said, Mahomes out. So he had the ACL he tore. Will he be regular? He be ready.
But the technology is so crazy that I think he will be ready.
He may
at the beginning of the season. This stuff is insane. How the one that just really I can't even understand it. Adrian Peterson tore his ACL, and they said, "Oh, he'll be back in the middle of next season." It was way before practice. He was in OTAs practicing, and then that year, he rushed for 2,000 something. You almost broke the record back then.
Broke the record.
And this is the guy that tore. He had a severe tear, or the ACL, MCL. And came back like nothing ever even happened to him.
Yeah.
Technology is in
technology.
So you got all this stuff. It's unbelievable.
The games tonight, college Final Four. We've got some pretty good games. We've got Illinois at 6:09. Now, none of these. This is money speaking, because they're not on CBS. They're not on network TV. They're on True TV, TBS, HBO Max. So they're not on. So they're not on network TV. Illinois taking on Connecticut, and I thought this is interesting because if you're gonna bet, Illinois is a 1.5 favorite. This is almost a toss-up. So Connecticut is getting 1.5 points if you were desire to drop money. And that's obviously Connecticut being a 2 seed, taking on Illinois, the 3 seed. Now, we'll get to the people think they should reseed. They don't. But the 2 1 seeds are coming on after that, scheduled to go on at 8:49 tonight, again on True TV, HBO Max, and TBS, not CBS. Michigan and Arizona go at it. And I believe Michigan lays 1.5 points to Arizona. So if you're betting these games, they're almost dead even.
Mm-hmm.
Both games are dead.
I think they're going to be interesting too. Both games, I think, is going to be very interesting.
Illinois, very big team.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are.
They just tore Houston apart. Houston couldn't deal with the size of Illinois,
No.
and they do. We'll go look at the roster here. We're coming up on break, but that Illinois roster, I think they've got a lot of players from Eastern Europe on the team,
mm-hmm.
and they are like all 7 foot, 7'2". They got some guys. That's just a big team.
Yeah.
And they rebound and they go down. They go down low, and I watched them just tear Houston apart.
Yeah, they had no answer.
No, Houston. It was a bad matchup. Everybody was saying, "Well, Houston's getting an unfair advantage because they were playing in Houston."
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's saying, well, Houston's going to get the regional final. They're going to have a home court advantage after they beat Illinois.
Yeah.
Now, they never even came close to beating Illinois. They just got they got crushed. I watched that game, and it was a game for a bit, but you could see Illinois taking that game over in the second half. Size-wise.
Yeah, you can't do it. And then once they started shooting from the outside, it was over then.
They were making the threes, but then they were also driving down and dishing off to the forward and the centers who were 7'2", 7'3".
That's why it's going to be so interesting, because Connecticut is a physical team,
right?
And they could play hard. Hurley gets them
to
go to another level, so that's going to be interesting.
Hurley's going to go down as one of the best coaches right now. I mean, if he does win tonight and win, which I don't rule it out,
he
but
could win
another national title. That would be 3 in 4 years.
Oh yeah,
because he won back to back. Then he didn't win last year.
And was he in the Final Four last year?
No,
they lost in the Elite Eight
they got beat. I believe in it. We'll look it up, but I think he got to the Elite Eight. Got beat either in the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight last year, and he knew that. They had won the title the year before, but they had a real close game, and I forget. I got to look it up.
And they lost a lot of players.
Right,
too.
They lost basically lost the team after winning the title second year in a row. So last year was a total rebuild year, but he did well with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, well, we could criticize the Illinois coach for the, Boozer for trying to pass the ball in the last 10 seconds. And, that didn't work out well. And when you watch that Duke Connecticut game last week, you could tell the Duke was playing not to lose that game. They had that lead. And you see it how many times when they go into that mode where they're worried about the clock and they get away from what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they let the team back in. Classic.
I hate that in football because I've seen teams,
see it in football. Same thing.
They handle a team and then we can't lose this thing, so they almost get conservative, and then they get out of rhythm. Now they're 1, 2, 3 out. And the other team gets their rhythm, and they come back and win the game. I can't stand that when I see that. I think they used to say these guys were bad. Well, I'll give you an example. They used to criticize Mike Ditka when the Bears of '86 would just crush teams because he said, and Buddy Ryan said it too, we got our foot on their throat. Now let's put full weight. Why back off? And they used to beat teams 50-something to 3. They didn't care what the score was. They just kept blowing you out. They kept the pass rush coming like crazy. You didn't see Buddy Ryan say, okay, let's get out of the 46, and we're going to play, we're going to play a little prevent defense. Nope. We're coming the entire game, and that's what I like. That's what got you there. Go there with it. If you lose it. But I hate when you go in that prevent. It prevents you from winning. That's what it does.
And that's what happens. John, play not to lose.
Yes.
Saturday morning sports page, back after this. Western Reserve Radio.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit TAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team, pride, Cobras. The Village Tavern's been a beloved local landmark in Hubbard, Ohio for nearly a century, and now it's better than ever. Recently renovated and still serving up the same warm hospitality, the Village Tavern is your go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. Whether you're stopping in for dinner, catching up with friends, or just looking to relax, you'll enjoy a full menu of American favorites, rotating drink specials, and friendly service that makes every visit memorable. Be sure to visit the Village Tavern at 746 North Main Street in Hubbard, right next to Repair That Glass. To learn more, go to villagetavern3.com.
The year was 1907. The Cubs won the World Series and the Ford Model R hit the assembly line. While here in Ohio, school administrators came together to form the Ohio High School Athletic Association. One thing that hasn't changed since 1907 is the dedication of the OHSAA to education-based athletics in Ohio. School sports teach responsibility, sportsmanship, and life lessons that stay with students long after their playing days are over. The OHSAA seeks to prepare students not for the next level of sport, but for the next level of life.
Saturday Morning Sports Fade back. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. 330-707-4202. Get in, talk sports. Talking a little bit about UConn this year. They play Illinois. Last year, they lost in the second round to Florida, who won the national championship last year.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the game. They came back, almost pulled this out. They lost to Florida 77-75. Mm-hmm. So I believe that was Florida's. Well, Florida had a real close. That was, I think that, it was Florida's closest game. No, well, tied. They beat Houston last year 65-63.
Yeah.
So UConn played Florida, the eventual winner of the national championship. They lost to them in the second round. There was a bracket they were in. They pulled Florida, and they lost 77-75. So Hurley lost a year where they were down. But, it's like that's just the way UConn is. That's why you can't rule them out.
Right, right.
I mean, I know that's not one of his most talented teams out there now, but way he coaches, he gets those guys, he gets a lot out of them.
Yep, that's what I'll say. Get every ounce of their ability out of them. So,
and he gets them ready for every big game, and they're always ready to play.
Yep, and it's going to be big.
So today's game with Illinois is going to be really, both these games back to back could just be unbelievable games tonight.
Yep.
As the games were, even though last night I thought they were pretty good games too. Some people were a little bit critical of the game, the night game with Texas and UCLA being an ugly game, but it was a defensive game. Teams played tight, and a lot of it is too, they wait. You mentioned this.
Yeah,
they're watching the other team, and they're trying to stay warm and focused. And I just think they get, they came out tight, and they couldn't, both teams, but especially Texas, you could see.
Yeah, you always want to be in to a certain extent. Let me be in the first game because when you sit there and watch it, you can feel intensity in a game.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So that puts some energy levels to you as you get ready for your game. And now that stuff boils up to a certain level. You get out there and then you be tight. And that's what happened in that game. You could see they was trying to free themselves from being so tight, and it took a long time. So it became a defensive game. You know, it's a lot of strategy you had to use because the ball was not going in the basket. And that's the kind of game. So that could happen again tonight. You would think Michigan and Arizona, I don't see that happening with those two teams. They're veteran teams. I think they'll be able to come out and perform. But I actually think this is going to be even better tonight. It should be.
Yeah.
I believe Illinois, that is a big, that's the only way you can describe that is a big team. And I want to see what Hurley's going to do with him because I know he's going to. He's going to get as much as he can out of those guys. And I think it's going to be a real interesting game.
Now, a lot of people think that the end, and I agree with this, like with the men, the women don't play in a stadium. They play in an arena. Like they played last night, Phoenix, in the Phoenix Suns home court. Mm-hmm. But the men play in these football arenas because they want more bodies in there,
right?
More money. But they always say that impacts the way they look at the basket because it's,
it's a different look.
Different look. Some players, it bothers some of the shooters. They adjust to it. It takes them a little. Some adjust, some don't adjust.
Right.
And they struggle with sometimes their shot. They just can't get anything to drop. And then there's players that doesn't matter. They're going to make the shots anyway. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see. They're playing it at Lucas Oil Stadium where the Colts play.
Right.
So you're going to have probably 60, 70,000 people in the arena. I think I looked this up. I believe it does hold 60 to 70,000 for basketball.
And it'll be full.
Oh, it'll be full.
Yep.
The Final Four will be full.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then if you want to go to the final game, you'll always get a deal on the ticket because the team that loses doesn't want to go to the final. They'll get rid of their tickets.
Right.
So everybody buys the whole package, but if your team loses, usually don't stick around to watch. Some do.
Yeah.
But other people want to get home.
Yeah. And then you don't have no interest now.
And then you want to get rid of your ticket.
Yeah.
So you could get tickets are low is just for those interested. I'm looking this up on Vivid Seats. Low as $381. So if you want to buy Arizona Wildcat tickets with Vivid Seats, tickets are low as $381, depending on where you want to sit. I pulled this up too earlier on another site. I think it was StubHub, and they actually show you where you're sitting. And you actually go down like a virtual tour. Okay, there's the stadium. This is what you're seeing. If you're watching the game, this is exactly how you would see the game.
Unbelievable what they can do.
Unbelievable.
Is it?
And there were tickets available. So depending on how much you wanted to spend, there's tickets. And they, of course, usually that's why they play obviously they play in these arenas because they know the tickets are available and they get, $700-800. There were tickets for $1,000 depending on where you wanted to sit. But
it's gonna be a packed house. So.
It'll be, packed out. This is the Final Four.
Yep.
This is kind of the Super Bowl of college basketball, sort of to speak.
Yeah, but it's just what we want.
Yeah.
You got this coming up next week. NBA will start. Right, the 14th to start their play-in tournament.
Their season. The play-in tournament starts April 14th. Mm-hmm. The season concludes, which would be a week from this Sunday.
On the 12th, yep.
The 12th is the last day for NBA. The Sunday is the last day, the 12th, and then the play-in tournament is Tuesday. And once they have that figured out, the playoffs actually start Saturday. 2 weeks from today, the NBA playoffs start.
And they start that playoff, and then Thursday of that week, the NFL draft.
Right. The following week, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the draft.
That's why it's just loaded with stuff. We had loaded with sports.
Yep, we got loaded here between now and pretty much the draft, and then May kicks in.
Yep.
And then you start, well, now you
playoffs.
Now the NBA playoffs heat up, and those are always, I love watching those games.
Oh, yeah.
Even when, if Denver's playing, I don't know.
I don't care.
And it's 10 o'clock or 10:30 on a weekday night, I'm going to make myself try to stay up.
Yep, me too.
Because I want to watch like a Denver, the Joker play, or the Lakers are playing, or, and now a lot of people are hoping that the Lakers do better this year than last year when they were eliminated right away by the Minnesota Timberwolves in a not competitive series.
Right.
They didn't have a center at the time, and Rudy Gobert had the way with the Lakers.
Yeah, I remember that.
The Lakers had no really defense at all, and the Minnesota Timberwolves just kind of took them to the woodshed, beat them in 5 games.
Yep.
And not a very competitive series at all.
No, so hopefully it'll be a lot better this year. But, I mean, it's right at the perfect time. When the NBA Finals is finishing, right as it finished, NFL camps start a lot of their summer camp, and then you had that month, not even quite a month, but almost a month, and then the regular training camp. But, I mean, that's why we used to have, with this show, we used to take off months and then come back because it really wasn't any sports. But
Especially
it's not like
summer.
that now.
No.
It's not like that now. If we want to slow down, we can, but it's not even like that. It's sports, I mean, it's just all years, nonstop. Stuff is happening all the time now.
Well, this past week, Kirk Cousins signed really a 1-year deal.
Yeah, that's what people got to understand. They looked at this, what are they doing? No. 1 year, $20 million.
I was listening yesterday to LeVar Arrington, and Plexico Burress was filling in for Brady Quinn and Jonas Knox were out. And I like Plexico. He's a good guy, but he got a little carried away thinking, oh my gosh, this contract he got, Cousins got this contract for a backup quarterback. And yeah,
it said 5 years.
Because it's 5 years, $170 million. But the reality is, it's guaranteed, and this is what Brady Quinn always says, always pay attention to the guaranteed money. That's what counts in all these contracts. All that other that's just fluff. What counts in the NFL contracts is guaranteed money. Kirk Cousins signed a guaranteed 1-year deal for $20 million. Club option, and I mean stress the word club option, team option, they can extend it, and then they could get, if they want to keep him more than a year, then that's when it opens up the door, but none of that money's guaranteed either.
Right.
So don't get carried away with, oh my gosh, he just signed this outrageously crazy contract. It says if you, on front, I believe it's 5-year, $170 million.
Yeah, it is. I think it's 172.
5-year, 172, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, how does a guy like Kirk Cousins, a backup he's going to be the backup, how does he get now?
And this is the thing about it. The contract is great because this is what the Raiders could do, and it really shocked me. A guy called me and said, your Raiders are stupid. Why would they sign by? I said, and I was trying to explain to him the same thing. I said, here go the caveat of it. I said, the Raiders don't even pay that. What do you mean? I said, no. I said, Atlanta is paying $11.5 million
of that
to them. Then they playing the Raiders another $1.5 million, and then the Raiders is only going to be playing
the difference.
like 5 point something million for that year. That's all they're paying.
They're only and that's that's where people get carried away. Is there's that offset because of the way they structure that. Mm-hmm. Is the Raiders really only getting they're only up, like you commented, after the offsets and everything, it's only about $5 or $6 million. It's $20 million guaranteed. Now, the contract, people read this contract, they get a little worked up over it, because if you read the contract, it says, well, it's a 5-year deal with $172 million. But it's really only reality, only a 1-year deal. Practicality is it's 1 year, $20 million.
That's it.
That's what it is. Now they have, if they wanted to extend him, or they could just they could move on from him after 1 year.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So it's actually a good deal for the Raiders because Cousins, I think, still can win games. He played well for Atlanta last year.
And then if the Raiders want to, see, this is the first time I said, I'm seeing competence in the head offices now, because Kirk Cousins, we might think of him as being Mendoza's backup. He could be the starter.
Bridge.
He could be that bridge guy, because one of the things, like they said, Mendoza and Cincinnati in his offensive style was, read, just almost like Days is at Ohio State. One read and then get it there and stuff like that. So a lot of the NFL throws, he didn't do it during the season, even though he can make them. He could make all the throws, but you got to be able to play that consistently and then go to the NFL and you start doing it. He's got to learn that and get that down. This gives him the opportunity to say, hey, you're going to keep learning. We go with Kurt, see how things go. Now, if this is going fantastic with Kurt, you leave Kurt in there and just go ahead. And Mendoza got the right type of mentality to say, I'm just going to learn. I'm sucking up everything, and then I'll be ready. And he got guys in his ear like a Kirk Cousins, but he also got a guy like Tom Brady in his ear to stay patient, and you'll get that just like he was patient, and we've seen what type of quarterback he became. So it's a lot of pluses in there. So this is the first time I've seen kind of competency. This is what we do. That's how you build a team. Get a quarterback like that. And he wanted to go there, so that makes it even better. And see what happens, because he could be the starter. I wouldn't be mad. He showed that he can win games when he was in Atlanta. So as long as he can still win games, then you get a guy like that instead of getting a different type of backup that's just it's something that's out there that you might not want them starting. They could come in and play when you need them in a pinch, but guys like Flacco and those are the guys you can put in there and start for you and give a guy time to learn. That's what helped. I mean, Russell Wilson helped Jackson Dart to be able. He had the same thing. One read too. His offense at Mississippi was the same thing. So that gave him time to get up to the NFL standards through practice, repetition, getting the reps, and then he was ready when it was time. After the fourth game, it's okay. You go. You can see him progress and get better and better. So that's what you need. That could the same way you can do it with Mendoza. Be competitive in games. If you can win some of them, and you want to go to Mendoza, you can. But start off with Kurt if you have to. I wouldn't be upset at that at all.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, before they would do dumb things.
Right.
They would be going get some guy that we'd be like, oh, what are you doing?
Right.
I
mean, I think when I saw that, because what blows me away is Cousins played good last year, filling in for Michael Penix. They won games last year with Cousins.
I think they said he went 5-3.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of those games he should have won anyway.
He should have won anyway. And Atlanta finished. I thought they were going to keep Raheem Morris.
Me too.
because of the way Atlanta went out. They went 8-9 last year, but they went out, I believe. I'll look it up, but they had a pretty good
ending
to a season that was, was disappointing. And sadly, I think that's what cost Raheem Morris his job, is because they didn't like what happened in the beginning of the season. And sadly, for what it's worth, he didn't get any credit for how they ended. And I thought they would keep him because of the way it ended.
But no,
but
he shocked us.
It's the NFL.
Yep, not for long.
And they don't have a real big, long, as far as the patience.
Yeah,
they have none.
It's not like before. Before they used to be patient with a guy. If it's a high draft pick, they'll sit there 3-4 years, a la Aaron Rodgers, Steve Young, all them guys just learn. Now they pay, and even though those contracts are structured for those rookies, they don't got patience because they looking at the bottom line is money, and if you can get these guys playing early, and do well, you're saving so much money because they're playing on their rookie contracts. And quarterbacks is usually the highest paid. So if you can get them going for 3 years as your starting quarterback, you can flourish the rest of the team and really build in other areas because the quarterback is on a rookie deal.
Well, and
that's
that's
what you
the
want.
key.
And that's the thing you want.
And I always go back to when people start saying, "Oh, Browns they're going to get rid of Dion." I said, "No, they're not. They're not getting rid of Dylan Gabriel or Dion because they're both on rookie deals.
Yeah.
They're going to get the most out of those as they can.
Yeah.
Dion, Shador Sanders is on he's a 5th round contract, and Dylan Gabriel's a 3rd round contract.
Right.
So their rookie contract, that's gravy. That's like, okay, if those guys start to play good, like Dak Prescott was a 3rd round?
He's a 3rd rounder.
And how long did Jones get out of that until he finally
Took
had
over
to
Tony
extend
Romo,
him?
and that was it.
Right. Yeah, Romo was an undrafted free agent.
Yep.
But when you get those players on those rookie contracts, quarterbacks especially, because quarterbacks it's the highest paid position now in the NFL and the most desperate position. When you get a guy, especially if they start playing good,
right,
that's money in your bank. And then you could put the right players around him. That's how you probably pull off a couple. You could get to Super Bowls because you got a quarterback you're not paying gazillions of dollars to.
Yeah, that's the thing that hinders Jerry Jones is you didn't get the max out of Dak Prescott because he's making money now, but before that he wasn't. But he was playing so good. You didn't fortify the rest of that team
like you should have.
Because they should have been in a lot of playoffs, and they should have been an opportunity not
For
just
Super
playoff,
Bowl.
but get in the Super Bowl.
No, you're right.
Maximize. Now you got to pay him. He's a established veteran now. You got to pay him, and they should have took advantage of that time they had because he's playing well enough for them to be in that area where they should have been right in the mix of everything.
For the record, Kirk Cousins went 5-2. You said it. When Kirk Cousins took over, they were 3-7. He went 5-2. They had finished up 8-9. They won their last 4 games. They lost to the Jets in the second game, 27-24. That's a game, like you said, they should have won now. The game they got blown out was Seattle, 37-9. That was a blowout. If they beat the Jets, they go 6-1. They might get in the playoffs. They would have been 9-8. They get in. That's how close it was. So Cousins did show us, as old as he is, I think they said he was 38.
Yeah, he should be that now. I think during the season he might have been 37.
Okay.
Last
he
season.
could still play.
Yeah, he can still play.
He's in shape, plays well. But Atlanta won their last 4 games with him as quarterback. And they won basically. He went 5-2 with them.
Right.
And the only team to really beat them bad, they had the kick up against the Jets. Seattle, the Super Bowl winner, beat them, but Seattle beat everybody. But the whole point of it is, if you're Atlanta, you have promise. You should. The only thing is, I kind of thought maybe Atlanta should have kept him, but now they got Tua instead of. I look at this as just they got rid of Cousins and took Tua for Cousins. So now you got Tua and Penix as the 2 quarterbacks. I would have personally, I know Cousins is a lot older than Tua, but Tua's got that concussion issue always hanging, literally.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was a good move or not. We're going to wait and see. But Cousins is on the way to the Raiders, and I think you said it. I think he may be the starter, and they'll let Mendoza develop.
Yeah. I won't be upset.
I won't be shocked. And Cousins may win you some games because he could play. I mean, Cousins is still a good quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, they come with a whole different philosophy, period, because now they went from the 4-3 to the 3-4.
Right.
They changed their defense. So they're doing a lot of things that's different. Let's see if they're in a tough division. So
the Raiders are in one of the toughest divisions
ever. But, hey, that's a lot of times that's what you need.
You got
get you to play where you need to play at. So
yeah. We'll see. We'll see how they can.
But they know they got to put some more receivers around. And I mean, they got the draft capital to get some guys.
Yeah.
So You know you got a tight end. You know you got one. You got one that you know established receivers been there. Tucker's been doing good. So you got to go ahead and pick up some more top receivers in that offensive line. You've been doing a lot of things over the break. That was what I watched. They was getting that offensive line because they need it.
That's what they need. They
Ashton
didn't have
Jenney
it.
was getting. I
Gino,
mean, as soon as he got handed the ball, he was tackled.
Yeah,
and Gino was running
Ashton
for his
Jenney,
life.
it just wasn't fair.
Yeah.
It's just when you go to a team that doesn't have an offensive line, I don't care if you're a rookie running back or a veteran running back. I saw that with Barkley with the Giants. They drafted him. I mean, he was I didn't like the draft because I liked Barkley, but the team had so many needs, especially the offensive line.
Yeah.
And they didn't get that right. And Barkley was just getting pounded his rookie year and I think he still had a good rookie year, but he was just getting absolutely, drilled in the backfield because they had no line. They couldn't block.
And the thing about it, that's, I would be okay if you did that. You picked him, and I liked them getting Ashton Jenney, but I thought in free agency last year that they would go really all out in getting you off. If you thinking Ashton Jenney is I think there was number 6 he was picked. That high, running back, I don't care what position, but you get him, my main priority would be getting a run-oriented offense ready. That means a better offensive line. And I would have been free agency. I would have went heavy on offensive line, but they didn't do it. That's what the Giants did, the same thing with Barkley. But once you start getting the offensive line together, which the Giants have done now, been working on, you see the improvement of the team. It's always like that. On both sides of the ball,
right?
If you can get those lines
in line play,
you're going to see a different type of football team.
It always does.
Yeah, any kind of dominance in any kind of way on offense or defense, you're going to – that's why I say Cleveland – people think, well, Cleveland can't – they're not going to be that good. Well, if they really get that offensive line good and upgraded.
Their defense is there.
The defense is there. You just add to that defense, some more guys there, and then get that offensive line. I feel we know if Watson can retain some of the stuff, they're going to be something. If Shador starts, we done seen enough of them flashes that he can run an offense, and they could be right. And you just get better receivers,
and the line gets better.
Yeah.
His problem last year with the Browns, I thought he showed you flashes of pretty good.
Yeah.
But the line was just so inconsistent.
Yeah.
He was a lot of times running for his life, or he was, he's getting in shotgun. Snap the ball and he's got a guy like on him, and people, well, Shador's Shador's just not. I don't think he's a pro quarterback. And he's like, what do you mean he's not a pro quarterback? If he's getting got a guy in his face, he gets the ball in the shotgun. I don't care what kind of quarterback. He's not going to be successful because you got to block.
Right.
I mean, I don't care. Shador doesn't seem to have the pro game. Well, yeah, if the line isn't there, I don't care who's the quarterback. Of course, the quarterback's not going to look good when he's getting hammered before he can barely touch the ball.
Right.
But I saw that time and time again last year with Sanders. And when he did get chance to throw the ball, I thought he did all right. Yeah. But he's only a rookie. We get into this conversation. People have no, this guy's a bust. He's not the quarterback.
Well, see, it was a foregone conclusion. People had negative things because the media portrayed him as being arrogant, this and that.
And he's not.
No. That's what I remember a guy was saying, what's the guy that does the Cleveland show that comes on? Say he's not arrogant.
No.
He's a humble kid that just wants to get better.
Right. That's it.
Yeah, but everybody thinks he's this arrogant guy.
That's what I mean. Saturday Morning Sports, we got an hour left, a lot to get to. Some draft stuff when we get back. NFL draft is going to be here sooner than later.
Yep, ready.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back after this.
Sherman Gillums Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
For more than 70 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get all the benefits they've earned.
Al Kovac Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We provide one-on-one support tailored to your individual needs, including healthcare advocacy, benefits support, and career assistance.
For more information, call 1-800-424-8200 or visit pva.org. A public service of Paralyzed...
Your home for PAFL football is the iMedia1 Network. Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast, Youngstown, Ohio.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit PAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team Pride Cobras.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back. Dave Clark, Pat Lucia. Just for what I don't have any. What is your prediction tonight, Dave Clark, on the games? Who do you think between? We're not going to do the point spreads; it's almost non-existent.
I'm just going to take, since we had our Gino area, our guy going crazy for the women. UConn.
Yeah.
I'm going to take UConn men.
Men for an slight
upset. But I'm going to take them. It's going to be tough against that Illinois team, but I'm going to take them.
You're going to take
I'm going to go UConn in that game. Second game, Michigan front line is so rough, but something tells me Arizona. Coach Lloyd got them playing at some kind of level.
And then who do you think will win it on UConn, Arizona, then Monday night?
Well, this will make Mark Means happy.
Are you going to go, okay?
Mark Means could go happy. I think it might just be that year.
Arizona
Wildcats may pull it out.
Just for the heck of it, I'm going the other way. Illinois, Michigan, and Illinois for the upset. Illinois to win the title.
Okay.
I'm going to go Illinois.
Well, that'd be a big plus for the Big Ten.
Yep.
If both
Illinois,
of them
Michigan in the final. Michigan wins. Illinois wins. And then I'm really going off the proverbial range. I'm taking Illinois to win it all.
That'd be something if they could do that.
If they could do it.
Oh,
I like
if they could do it,
the size. I think I just think I should look up. I know they played during the regular season, Michigan and Illinois.
They should have played twice.
Yeah. Let me pull it up. But I've got this feeling that Illinois, and I'm probably going to be dead wrong. I usually am. But I have a feeling the way Illinois is playing with their size and the way they are on a roll, and they're really pretty much beating everybody pretty bad. And they're just like taking teams apart. Now, granted, UConn's going to be a very tough out, and Hurley's a great coach. I like Hurley. And I'm inclined to take UConn to win the whole thing. That was my other debate. Is I'm going to go off the range because I would take the winner of UConn and Illinois to win it all, which no one would have that because everybody's saying that Michigan and Illinois is the de facto national championship game, which they're giving no respect to UConn or Illinois.
Yeah, they're looking at that Arizona.
Right, Arizona
Michigan,
and Michigan being the de facto national title game.
And to be honest with you, that was the same way for the women's.
Yes.
They looked at South Carolina
and UConn being the championship.
Yeah, and the intensity was like that was a championship. That's what it seemed like, But UCLA gonna have something to say about it, and South Carolina got to come out and play again like they did to pull it off.
Don't underestimate UCLA.
Yeah, right. You don't want to.
Don't sleep on UCLA.
I'll be watching it too.
Okay, since we're doing that, let's pick that game. Who do you pick between Carolina and UCLA?
Well, I'm gonna take South Carolina, but I will not be surprised if UCLA win though.
Yeah.
Just by I done watched them several times during the season, and I've seen them like start off with sometimes a little shaky, and then all of a sudden they get it going. They ramp up their defense. They start hitting from the outside, and then they can go inside. They got, what's her last name? Ball? I forgot the center, but she's like 6'7".
Right.
And her younger sisters are backup. So, I mean, they are a team. Once they get on a roll, it's hard to stop them. So I would not be surprised. I'm gonna go South Carolina, but not surprised if UCLA could pull it out.
Michigan beat Illinois in the regular season. They only played them once.
Oh, that's different.
Is that possible? Yeah, I guess it is.
I guess if they
yeah,
do.
They do weird things, but
you know what? So used to them playing each team twice, but they can't do it now because it's not Big Ten. It's Big 18?
18.
18, right? So it's no way you could play each team. You really wouldn't play any other teams after that if you did that. So
they beat Illinois at Illinois 84-70, but that was on February 27th. So it was over a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just have this feeling that Illinois, and they could get beat tonight by UConn, and I'd be whatever. But
I meant to look up UConn yesterday. The women, did they play South Carolina during the regular season? I thought they did, and I thought they beat them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they dominated them or not. But I thought they did play during the season.
They might have because South Carolina had 3 losses. Obviously, the UConn women were undefeated last night, going into that game 38-0. And obviously, they came up short against South Carolina. But that's a good point because when you break down South Carolina, you're right. They only had 3 losses going into the game last night. You might be correct. We could pull it up and kick it around a little bit, but I thought it was interesting that they might have lost to UConn during the regular season, but then they came back obviously last night, and I thought, I won't say they dominated them. That's not correct, but I thought that they were able to get up in that, in that game. And it just seemed like once they were able to get the lead, UConn made a couple runs at them, but then South Carolina was able to keep the lead.
Right. And it just seemed like I would always see them like we just talked about, taking the foot off the pedal with defensively. And that's what I seen that was different.
Yeah, and I like I said, I take some time to look through this, but the bottom line, basically, I thought, like I said, we talked briefly about it, was that that UConn could not seem in the second half. They were they were just too much.
Right.
So we'll see. Again, I like these matchups tonight. I think this is going to be the best. This may be one of the better Final Fours. They've all been pretty good. I will give you that. But I'm still trying to. I don't know if they actually did play South Carolina this year.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see if I find something too, but
I don't see it. I thought they had. You brought it up that they might have played them, but I'm looking up at the UConn schedule, and I don't see them playing South Carolina. So I guess the other question, though, you get into, and we'll look at this maybe coming up on break because I want to talk about some draft. Who were the 3 teams that beat South Carolina this year?
Right, that's what I want.
Now you've opened up that door, and to that, and I'm thinking in the back of my head, okay, who beat South Carolina?
I see it now. Texas.
All right.
Oklahoma.
Right.
And Texas again.
And Texas. So they lost twice to Texas and once to Oklahoma. So that's their 3 losses.
And they got beat 78-61 by Texas.
All right.
On one game. That game was, they were home and got beat like that.
Okay.
Wow. That is shocking. And then when they played Oklahoma, that game was at Oklahoma, and they lost 94-82. And I told you Texas, they lost 66-64. Wow. So, I mean, Texas shown that they could blow them out one time,
and
only beat them by
close
2.
The other.
Yeah.
So they lost 2 games to Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
don't know. Now I think that maybe this is UCLA's year.
Yeah, maybe so. And they lost one time, I think, right?
Yeah, they only had 1 loss. I know that, and they showed that they only had 1 loss this year. UCLA only had the 1 loss too. Now that we've opened up that door, like we like to do, but yeah, UCLA only had 1. They played good. UCLA played. It wasn't, as I said, it was kind of the ugly win, but again, that's how at the bottom line. That's how you win championships.
Now, this game was back in November.
Okay.
When they lost to Texas the first time.
Okay.
And then against Oklahoma, that was January, right? The beginning of January. And then the Texas game was the last. It was this month. Earlier this month. That probably was in the tournament. Because I forgot it, they had a conference tournament, and I guess they lost to Texas in the conference tournament. Yep. I was wondering, I thought one of those losses might have been to somebody like LSU, or I know the Texas A&M team is decent, but I thought maybe LSU, but they didn't lose to them.
UCLA, boy, UCLA lost to Texas early in the season, 76-65. So Texas beat both South Carolina and UCLA going into the Final Four.
Yeah.
You would have had them favored if you look at what they did in the regular season.
Yeah, you have to have a favorite.
You would have to.
Yep.
But UCLA beat Texas. Boy, Texas is a heck of a team. I mean, they beat all the heavyweights.
Yeah, they did.
And they handled UCLA. They beat them by 11 points in the regular season. So, there you go, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah. That's something. That's something there.
So, I know the draft is still a few weeks away.
Yeah. But we get into it.
But we get into it. And the next couple weeks, we're really getting into it.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll still talk about NBA. We'll still have a lot of stuff, but we'll start looking at the draft. I want to start what I always like, looking at the mock drafts, but looking at the positions where the players are coming out, team needs, what are they going to do? But then looking at what I always like, look at some of the teams, and then I like some of those remote draft picks that people are like, how are they, and they come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
and they end up in a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, and it will happen for sure.
And it definitely does happen.
Yep, there's no question.
And then we could actually, in the one magazine, I got the USA Today's got a great draft magazine as long, and Lindy Sports, Pro Sports. I got 2 draft magazines.
Yep.
Got them for a birthday present for my wife. She gave me these. And these are great. These things are just, you could lose yourself in these magazines for a day.
Yep. Yep.
There's so much information that they've got about the players.
I know.
And then the USA Today was great. They got the busts, all time
did they?
draft busts of all time. They rate them. I believe Ryan Leaf was number 1.
Man.
They were ranking them. They had Ryan Leaf number 1, Tony Mandrich number 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. He did play guard for the Colts, and he did actually play okay.
Yeah.
And he had,
he did.
But he was an overall number 1 pick, and he didn't live up to it.
Oh, he didn't live up to it.
And the Packers, he did bust, but he actually did have salvaged a career with the Colts.
Yeah.
So and I know he had evidently, they say alcohol abuse, drug abuse. Okay,
Right.
I get it. But he did contribute to the Colts later on.
Oh, he did.
As a guard, he actually played pretty good. So I think that's harsh because he wasn't like Jamarcus Russell was a bust. He's number 3.
Yeah, I thought he might be number, but I can't forget Ryan Leaf.
Right.
Because he was on the field and he was just, I don't know what happened. It was just too much for him.
Too much.
It had to be too much for him.
He had the talent, the size.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the thing. Jamarcus Russell had the size and the arm, but he just didn't have. Some of the players don't understand that this isn't college. This is the pros, and it's a league, and it's a business, and you need to go to camp, and you need to study the books. And
they just think you just do like they did in high school and what they did at college.
Right. You can't rely
work.
on talent.
Yep.
And that's where, sadly, some of the players fail is because they think they don't grow up and realize it's a job, but it's a job. It's 70 hours a week job, not 40 hours go home. No, you're in first in the morning, like Shador was in early and out late. He studied his book. He tried. I mean, that's what it is. And that's what some of the players don't understand that come into the league. Like Jamarcus Russell fell asleep in the meetings. When he did show up, they had problems with him. And it just, didn't work for him.
Yep.
And then there was the other people they put in. They have Trey Lance at number 4. But I don't think you could say that yet. I still think I'm going to say give Trey Lance a chance. He looked pretty good with the Chargers in the exhibition game. I would say before you call him a total bust, I would wait.
Yeah, and
on
I'm
some
trying
of
to think,
these
did he
guys.
re-sign with the Chargers to stay out there? I can't remember. Or did somebody else yank him off? I can't remember if that happened this free agency. Did somebody take Trey Lance? But yeah, I just think he was a raw talent, similar to Richardson. Not enough college starts. Got all the talent in the world. It's up to them. Richardson's got he's got some action behind him, but he got to stay healthy.
Right, he's had problems with health.
Yeah.
Well, so did Trey Lance. I mean, the game he started, he blew out here at his ankle and broke his ankle, I believe, the game he started on a horrendous field in Chicago. Then it was raining, and it was like a swamp. And then I believe that it was at an ankle. He blew out, and then he ended up missing the season. And then he could never get back into it. Then they traded him away to Dallas. And then he ended up signing with the Chargers. Now, we have to do a little research to see if he's still with the Chargers.
Yeah.
They have Zach Wilson for the Jets as being 4. They have Trey Lance at 4, Zach Wilson 4A. Jamarcus Russell was 3 on this list. Tony Mandrich 2, Ryan Leaf 1. And then you get to 4A. This is the quarterbacks they don't think. They got quarterback 4As that are, quote, busts. Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, and Justin Fields. But I wouldn't call Mac Jones played really good
Yeah,
last
that's what
year
I'm saying. I can't put him
as a backup, and played good when he was in. So I would
think
back off
he was
that.
undefeated for like 5 games. I think he went 5-1
Yeah,
or
he went
something.
5-1, I believe,
I mean,
with the
'cause it was
49ers.
right? They was thinking about, hey, do we even bring back? They was just leave Mac Jones in.
Leave Mac
Brock
Jones,
Purdy,
Brock
he was
Purdy, because he had that bad foot injury.
Yeah.
And they got Justin Fields at 4C.
And I think you can't call it. He's.
I would wait on him because the Jets is a bad situation. So I don't.
All of them. Zach Wilson too, because I think even though he looked terrible when he was in there, but they only been in the league maybe 4 years.
And here's the problem.
Started one season.
Zach Wilson, what's a common denominator? Justin Fields and Zach Wilson played with the Jets.
Yeah.
Okay. So I almost give them a pass because I still think the book is, I won't put them in a bust category. It's too early yet.
Yeah, I just think it's just the year, Now, Fields did have Chicago and the opportunity to show some, but I just think he's more of a situational quarterback, a backup. But I think he's not a guy that I would say a bust. When I say just a bust, he's done, he's nothing. No, I wouldn't say that. Zach Wilson, I don't know. What I seen was terrible. It was.
Yeah, he did.
But
he didn't play
just
well.
played at the Jets. But then when he did get the opportunity to come in, I think at Denver or something, he was horrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He could be a bust. He could be. But I definitely don't know if I do, like you said, Trey Lance, Fields. I don't think so just yet. Especially, I don't think either one.
I don't agree with.
I think Fields if he gets one more opportunity to be a starting quarterback, he's got to capitalize and show that he can be a competent quarterback, or he's just a backup for sure.
I'm not. Yeah, I'll give. I'm not. I hesitate with calling a Lance, a Zach Wilson, a Mac Jones, and they had 4.
Yeah,
they've got these quarterbacks.
Yeah, Mac Jones
4
definitely
quarterbacks,
shouldn't be in that.
And I don't agree with it because they're all drafted in 2021. There's the 4 quarterbacks drafted in 2021.
So they only played 4 seasons.
And they really haven't had. And then I almost give Fields a little bit of a break, because they were with the Jets, and we know where that is. So I discount that because I would give those guys a few more years before I want to say, because I still think they could pull a Sam Darnold out of their pocket and end up with a good team and a good situation, and they may be pretty good. They may be, fairly good quarterbacks.
Yeah, it could happen. I'm sure some of these magazines had. He did not know. I'm sure. I know they had Sam Darnold as a bust.
Oh, they did.
In certain ones, but it was too early to give him that. I'm trying to think. You said 2021?
Yeah, these were all 2020. All 4 of these guys were drafted in 2021.
So where did Fields play? He must have played 3 years at the Bears. One with the Steelers and one with the Jets.
Yeah, that would be right.
Yeah, the only reason I say I can't call him a bust yet, but he did have 3 years of opportunity.
He had 21, 22, 23 with the Bears, 24 with the Steelers, and 25 with the Jets. That's what Fields had.
Yeah,
you're right.
See, that's the thing that puts him in, why they put him in that category.
Right.
The Bears was a much more competent team than the Jets.
Right.
But I thought it was too high to go on him anyway. I always thought that.
Yeah. I know you were never.
Yeah, I wasn't
a big fan.
I said, I like this talent, but I just wasn't sure about him being that type of quarterback in the NFL system. I didn't see that, and I still don't see it. But the bust is that's a heavy word to say, a bust. Not on him.
Not after 4 years. Not with their. Mac Jones, I don't even belongs on the list.
No, he shouldn't even be on there.
Mac Jones, to me, sadly, Belichick. Mac Jones had Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinator, and you could see Mac Jones visibly frustrated with Matt Patricia.
Yeah,
on the sidelines and in the game, like he knew that Patricia wasn't calling the right plays, and Mac Jones knew what plays could be called or should be. So you knew he got it. Mac Jones figured it out. But Patricia was totally fish out of water as an offensive coordinator. That was Belichick. And that basically led to Belichick getting fired because he made bad decisions then.
Yeah.
So but then when Mac Jones played good for San Francisco this past year, won games under Kyle Shanahan's system, you got thinking, this guy looks like he could play. And I believe he re-signed with San Francisco because he wants to go back.
Right.
He'll be at he doesn't mind being the Brock Purdy backup because he's figuring I'm really developing under this system.
Yeah.
Darnold spent time in San Francisco
before he went to
Minnesota. And look what it did for him.
Look what it did when he was in Minnesota.
Right.
Under another guy with great offensive personality in O'Connell.
Right.
Just took him to another level. And then he goes to Seattle, and that looks like a completely different Sam Darnold. So that's why I said they just got to have some more. I don't know how Mac Jones on it, like I said.
No, I don't agree with that.
But I guess did play a couple years as quarterback, Zach Wilson, at the Jets. But like you said, that's the Jets. But he's still, when he got out there for Sean Payton, he was out there horrible too. So I just think he may be a bust. It's not the guy that we thought. Now, does he have arm talent? Yeah, we've seen the stuff that he would do. But he probably is.
Yeah, I think he may be. Well,
I just think Justin Fields, you got to put him in a different, he's not your standard type of quarterback. He's a different type of guy. So can you put him in a system that can do some other things? Yeah, that's what I think. And he could be I don't want him to say a gadget guy, but he's a guy you could use at times. That's
he's
why
got a lot of speed, and he has athletic ability to get outside the pocket and make things happen. I still think I feel that he could actually play pretty good if it's a system, if you get him in the right system with the right players, coach, etc. He's got the talent to play. I think he could figure it out. The only problem I think he might have developed into bad habits is trying to always run first, and then, because if he doesn't see anybody open, and he has to kind of break that habit a little bit. But I think there's a coach out there.
Yeah, somebody can get him to do it because
get him to do it.
That's what he did do at Ohio State.
At Ohio State, he has the arm.
That's the way it was set, though, because they one read, and then if you don't see anything, you take off. So he just kept that mentality in the pros, and it's completely different in the pros. You can't do that.
You just can't.
No, you got to go through progressions. It could be 4 or 5 progressions. If you can't do that, you're more than likely not going to be successful.
Right, and I think so. A lot of these coaches, I think, to some extent, are even getting away from that because of they put too much pressure on their offensive line, and sometimes the offensive lines just can't. With these defenses being so if you're gonna, I've been watching more of a lot of quick, like the passes or quick outs, and they will throw you a deeper pass downfield. But that gets back into running the ball. The teams that run the ball have quarterback does better because then the defense can't lay back in coverage. So the quarterbacks have a better success rate when they have a great running game.
Yeah.
And you saw in the Super Bowl with Walker, won the Super Bowl MVP. Granted, the Seattle let him go, but that takes a lot of pressure off of Darnold, and that's why he did well. But Walker had a great game. But we see that a lot where teams that don't have the running games, their quarterbacks inherently struggle. And that's, to your point, getting back to where does this all bring? Why maybe the Giants should draft Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think they should.
Because now you're going to really have a great running back with a good running back. Scadaboo's a good running back, but that takes a lot of pressure off Dart.
Yeah, well, you want to run the football. The thing about it, they're going to always have that progressions because the object of a defense, especially at the NFL level or just pro level period, is to put as much pressure as possible.
Right.
So if you're doing quick all the time, you're getting picked off.
Right.
Because that's what they want you. They want you to think quick.
But then if you run the ball,
yeah. Well, you got to have a good running game.
And that's when you bring those backs up. And that opens up the middle of the field better.
Yeah.
Like we got a break and we'll come back more on that. Saturday Morning Sports Page. We'll wrap it up after this.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
The Village Tavern's been a beloved local landmark in Hubbard, Ohio for nearly a century, and now it's better than ever. Recently renovated and still serving up the same warm hospitality, the Village Tavern is your go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. Whether you're stopping in for dinner, catching up with friends, or just looking to relax, you'll enjoy a full menu of American favorites, rotating drink specials, and friendly service that makes every visit memorable. Be sure to visit the Village Tavern at 746 North Main Street in Hubbard, right next to Repair That Glass. To learn more, go to villagetavern3.com.
If I could be you,
and you could be me, for just 1 hour,
if you could find a way
to get inside each other's mind,
walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out, and for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Ohio high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back. Wrap up here. Half hour left. Got a lot still, Dave Clark. Get to. Other draft busts on this list. Jeff George was 5. I'm not sure.
See, I don't know what they now. Was he a head case? I think so, in a lot of places. But Jeff George was successful in certain places. Atlanta for a couple seasons, had a decent season.
Yeah, I think the problem you ultimately have.
But he was a head case.
Yeah, he had, I think, a lot of problems with getting along. I always
Right.
heard this.
Yep.
He didn't get along with
Right.
people.
Yep. And that's his bust. That's what I say. It's a different degrees of what their bust
Right.
is about. His is not about ability
No, he
to
had
play.
talent. No,
Yeah, that guy, that was some different type of arm.
he had, and he was the first overall pick by the Colts in 1990. And I think that's a lot of the problem when you're the quarterback and you're like either the first or second pick.
Oh yeah, that
The expectation is you should be a borderline Hall of Famer.
right. Yep.
And if you're not,
You're a bust.
you're a bust. And I think that's a little harsh, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I know George just never lived up to being the number 1 overall pick, but he's definitely very talented, a great quarterback. You could throw the ball. It just seemed like he could never get into the right situation.
Yeah, and it was him, and I feel it had to be him because there was always issues wherever he went. With, like you said, getting along with players, coaches sometimes, almost being a guy that's floating out on his own island. He was that guy, but he had the talent to get the ball there, and he had some great things he had going with Andre Rison and the guys down in Atlanta. I mean,
he ended up there because in this write-up, they basically say navigating into the top spot, Jeff George forced Indianapolis to surrender Pro Bowl Chris Hinton, which was part of the Elway. Future Pro Bowler Andre Rison, and a first-round pick in 1991 to Atlanta, where George found himself in 1994. They traded up with Atlanta to get the pick. They said wore out his, in this article, it says he wore out his welcome in Indianapolis with a bad attitude, and they were 14-35. But, I mean, sometimes that's a team, though, too. I mean, they blamed George, but the team himself around him wasn't very good either.
Yeah.
And that's what you get into these discussions. Is a guy really a bust? But if the team around him isn't that good, he gets the blame, but it wouldn't matter because the team. Yeah. So sometimes I take it with a grain of salt because I think there's other factors involved here. But it says, it goes, they passed on 3 eventual Hall of Famers. They're going to talk about that later. Not particularly popular in the locker room. George played for 5 different teams and did post better numbers, as you've said, if not many wins later in his career. But I guess they're saying they look at, see it. What I have a little bit of problem with this is they're looking at this as the team that drafted him, not the career, because sometimes these guys go on and have decent careers.
Yeah, so they're talking about the team.
Yeah, they're arguing more, looking at it from a lens strictly the team.
Yeah,
was it a bust for that team? Not
overall.
Like
bust.
Mandrich had an okay. I mean, he had an okay career. He was a bust for the Packers, but he actually played okay for the Colts and played for a few years there. So it wasn't like a total out of, like Ryan Leaf was a bust, a total washout. Jamarcus Russell, they were total washouts.
Yeah.
These guys, and then they got obviously Lawrence Phillips on this list at number 6. I don't have any problem because Lawrence Phillips had
problems.
A lot of problems.
Drug problems.
He did have drug problems. He had a talent, but really bad issues.
He died.
He died in I believe he died in prison. I'll look. Yeah, let's go to the phones. You're on the sports page. What's
Good
up?
morning, Pat. Good morning, Dave. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, Irish Mike, what's happening?
Happy Easter, guys, to you and your families.
Happy Easter to you and yours. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, you know, we're transitioning now to the start of the Major League Baseball season, and obviously the NBA and NHL playoffs are right around the corner, so it's kind of a fun time of year. And you have the NFL draft in 3 weeks, so it's like kind of a fun time of year of, you know where sports are at right now.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously you have the Final Four this weekend as well, the semifinals night and the championship game Monday night.
No, definitely. This is gonna, like I said, we got this. You've got the NBA coming up. Their season's going to conclude a week from Sunday. Then you got the play-in tournament, and the NBA's heating up. And then obviously you'll have some football with the mini camps and all that seems to be coming up before we know it. But yeah, this is college basketball tonight and Monday. And you got, it looks like very good games in front of us. All, these 2 games today may be coming down to who has the ball last, and then you're going to set up for, I think, really a great game on Monday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you just look how the game ended last Sunday between Connecticut and Duke. I mean, Duke with 10 seconds left had a 98.6% chance of winning. You're up 3 or up 4. Connecticut misses a free throw, and you're still up 4. It was crazy. It was crazy how it ended.
It sure was. Yeah, that just,
you
have nightmares.
You talk about coaching strategy. Duke has 10 assistant coaches, and with 10 seconds left, you don't even have to cross half court. If you don't cross half the court, the game's over.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's, but you just don't know what kids are going to do, how they're going to handle, I don't want to call them panic situations, but, dire situations where, sometimes people panic and make the wrong choice and they make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of it is, too. I mean, you're right. That's it. Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think, guys, I could be wrong, but I think Duke is looked at like the Notre Dame of college football or the New England Patriots. When they lose, there's no sympathy for them. And maybe you guys think I'm very petty about this, okay? But Carlos Boozer's son made the turnover at the end, and, obviously what I do for a living, I deal with young people who are 14, 15, 16 years old, and I got to explain to them what Carlos Boozer did to Cavs 20 years ago. There's still not a love lost between Cavs fans and Carlos Boozer.
No.
And how that was handled 20 years ago.
No, you're right.
You guys remember that situation?
Oh, like it was yesterday.
Yes. When you had to explain to me, the guy was a second-round pick. He played well over that number, and the only way they could sign him long-term is they had to, make him an unrestricted free agent. They gave him the wink-wink and said, we're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you. Well, they didn't have to do that. They could have let him play for another year in another contract, legally, and didn't have to do that, and they did it, and he signed with the Utah Jazz, and people were irate over that. The Cleveland media killed him over that. Killed him.
Yeah, I remember that yesterday.
Yeah, he was caught up in being the next, and he said it too, the next Karl Malone out in Utah. Yeah. He felt that he could be that type of player and get that type of publicity going out and playing in Utah because they hadn't had a forward like that since Karl Malone. So he figured he could do that, and that was the wrong move. It definitely.
How do you guys view his son? I mean, I've some guys who are big NBA guys, and they think his son will be a pretty good NBA player, but not a great, because right now all he's doing is backing people down his muscle ball, and they don't think he's strong enough or big enough yet to do that in the NBA. So obviously he's going to go to the NBA and be a high draft pick. We all know that, but how effective will he be at the next level? That's the question.
I don't see him being that superstar type of guy, but I think he can be a consistent performer in the NBA. But you're not backing down those NBA power forwards like you was in college. You're not doing that, and then the game is not played that way anyway. So he's not going to be being able to do that. One thing I will say for him, he can hit the perimeter shot, so that's going to help him a lot. But as far as being that big time superstar type guy, no. I might see that out of the BYU kid before I would see that out of him.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, I agree with that.
Yep.
I agree with that. His game translates much more to the NBA than Boozer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure whether or not you're right. You bring up a good point. I'm not sure. He's going to have to develop a little bit of a different game in the NBA. Not to say he can't.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's going to be able, like you said, to back down low like the way he does it. And really, that's, to some extent, that's when you watch NBA, that's usually what players don't do.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's got the size to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's, is he 6'8"?
Yeah. I
250,
think
something like that.
6'8".
But it's just the game is just played different. That one thing, like I said, I give it to him. He's a better outside shooter at this point of his career than his dad was. He can shoot the ball from the outside, so that's going to help him.
Right.
But I think he'll be a consistent NBA performer, but no, not a superstar. Like I said, I lean towards the BYU kid or even the North Carolina. Yeah, I don't know if he's coming out. I think he is. What's the kid's name for North Carolina? The forward, too. Oh, because they had matched him and Boozer up when they played. But I think those guys, their game translate to the NBA. Athletic, can score from outside in, and then they can run the floor. And that's the way the game is played nowadays. So
yeah, it's more of a
it definitely translates.
It's more of a drive it and then kick it out for three-pointer. They shoot a lot of threes in the NBA.
And the BYU kid, I like him because he goes mid-range and threes. He's more of he reminds me of how Kevin Durant is. Kevin Durant can shoot threes, but he's a mid-range guy. He'll tear you up from the mid-range.
Oh, yeah, Durant's. Yeah.
Just shoot right up over you. So those are the things I think they could be more successful than he will. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's the point. I'm like you said, you bring up a good point. We'll see. He will probably come out, although I think he should stay another year, but they won't. I don't know if his brother comes out. I think his brother will stay another year.
Yeah, he should.
Maybe he must.
Yes, he should. Yes, correct.
He doesn't actually. Money-wise, that's the thing they were talking about yesterday. Somebody called in and said an interesting point. What's making college basketball better, and even maybe football, is these guys are now staying because of the money. They're staying for NIL. The college, especially basketball players, aren't going into the NBA and looking for the contract because they're getting NIL money, and they'd rather stay in college and develop their game, which is good for college basketball by these guys staying that extra year or two because they're getting paid now.
Right.
With NIL money, which is, I think, that's a positive side to the NIL.
Yeah, because some of them will stay. And then, the thing that's also with the NBA guys or college basketball guys, if they don't sign with an agent at all.
Right.
I think that's still under the rule that if they don't, and they don't like where they are drafted, I think they actually can come back.
Because
they never signed with anybody. So, that's pretty nice too. Now that creates a problem if a guy wastes a draft pick, but it's different than years ago. It used to be 7 rounds. Now it's just the top 2. It's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft. So if you were projected in your mind a first rounder, but you get drafted in the second round, you don't have an agent, then that lets me know I'm going back.
Get back in.
Yeah, I just go back.
But I think now too that's where you're getting back with this NIL money. These guys are staying now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, Boozer doesn't need the money. I mean, his father was an NBA because the son doesn't need the money in the NBA. Now, granted, they want to get that contract in, so the quicker they get to the NBA contract, they become a free agent, and then they get gazillions of dollars instead of just millions.
Right.
But the point is, I don't think he will stay, but he might.
Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility that he could stay one more season.
Yeah. Which I think he should, personally.
And those other guys I was talking about with BYU, but I don't know if he's getting that type of money out of BYU.
Yeah, I don't know if he's getting the end. It depends how bad they want to keep him. They can muster up the money.
Right.
I know we didn't talk about the executive order that Trump signed, which is going to give athletes 5 years and a transfer. 1 year. They get one transfer in 5 years. That executive order aims to limit the NC athletes to 5 years and one transfer. And I know some people are thinking this is great. It's not going to hold up.
I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's all great.
I sent that to you, Pat, and a couple of lawyers who go on some Notre Dame boards. They've been lawyers for 30 years for the exact same thing.
Yeah. It's not going to hold up.
Basically, they said you should just ignore it because it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean
That's
anything.
what they said.
Well, I get tired of them going to Congress
Right.
and all this stuff. Just leave them out of it. They
Well,
got other
fuck it,
things to
right.
attend to. Just
Here's what this comes back to. And I've said this. If I say it, I keep saying this. The problem you have with college sports and NIL, you can't limit it. You think you can, but you can't. But the colleges don't want to make these kids employees where they actually could limit what they pay them.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have to give them benefits, and then you could, I guess, technically deal with a union if the college players buy, that kind of thing. They don't want to have that relationship with the players. They don't want to make an employee a paid employee. Mm-hmm. So the way they're trying to compensate them is they're using NIL to do it. But you can't limit that NIL because they lose that case every time in court.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is an executive order, but that won't hold water either because these kids are year to year. That's the other part of the side that people keep ignoring. The players are year to year that's it. Their scholarships go year to year.
Mm-hmm.
So they are year to year employees. They have a contract for a scholarship 1 year. After that, they can leave.
Right.
And that's what everybody gets all hustled and bustled. Oh, this transfer. Yeah, but at the other side of the coin, the colleges don't have to renew a scholarship and cut these kids loose after 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes that way too.
Yep.
Or, like the case, and I just read this morning, I told you, I know it's happened in Notre Dame with their backup quarterback. His freshman year coming out of high school because they want you to sign. He got $200,000 NIL deal. After a year, they offered him $20,000.
Right.
So I'm not good at math, but that's $180,000 less.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a polite way of saying, Dave Clark, we want you to leave. Right.
Right.
Right. Or if you want to stay and make $20,000, you can.
Exactly. And the kid did. The kid did his credit. He stayed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll take the NIL money and maybe work on his degree and take the money that he's got and move forward and take if they're going to as long as they renew the scholarship, he'll stay.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
That's where
people
they don't
realize the scholarships are still worth something. I mean, at some of these schools, a 4-year deal, 4-year education is over $300,000.
Sure.
So if you get your education, that's money you're saving by not having to come into your pocket either.
Right. No, that's 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the side of this that people don't want to understand is scholarships are year to year. The schools could pull scholarships from these kids after 1 year, and they have.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody, that doesn't get reported. Like, that just gets ignored. So there is the other side of it, and then they all rant race. But the college, what cracks me up is the head coaches complain about the portal, but they also use the portal to build their teams.
Right.
So how bad is the portal if you sit around and complain about it, but then you turn around and instead of recruiting, you just use the portal and build your team through the portal?
That's what cracked me up. But what's his name? At Nebraska.
Matt Rule.
Matt Rule went off about Deion.
Right.
But Deion didn't make no excuse. And he said, that's what I use. I use the portal.
He uses the portal.
He ripped Deion up and down. Right. And then we find out.
Guess what?
Right behind him in the amount. It was like 3 or 4 different, players. I said, what? He uses it, but it was okay.
Right.
No, that's
what makes me laugh with these coaches. They all complain about it, but they turn around and use it to build their team.
Yeah.
How bad is it if you're using it, but you don't like it when you lose guys, but then you turn around and, okay, I lose guys, but I'm going to use the portal to restock my team.
Yeah.
How bad is the portal then?
See, the thing, and it works sometimes. Like, I give you a prime example of the portal being great for a team. Florida State. The year that they were undefeated, but the quarterback got injured. Remember, he broke his leg or whatever?
Yeah, broke the leg.
Yeah.
That year, that portal worked great for them, and they were winning. See, it's got to come together. Continuity got to come. People got to understand you can get all you want from the portal, but if the continuity is not there, it's not going to work.
No.
So then the following years, they did the same thing. Let me do it. But look, it didn't do the same thing. So it doesn't work all the time. I think the way you should use the portal is to fill in gaps. Still do what you always did. Recruit heavily on what you need to get, and then you might have a weakness on the defensive line or whatever it is. I would use the portal for those areas, like my line, especially if it's line play. I'll try to do that. Recruit in other areas. Still get my recruits for the line, too, but if I can get a guy from the portal that's good, he's already been playing, it'll help us get continuity quicker than just going and just saying, I'm going to get a whole team of portal guys and see what we do. No. I mean, it can happen and work. Like I said, Florida State it did, but will it be a consistent? No, it will never be. Because you got to get continuity.
You got to get it, and you got to make sure you're hitting right on all the players you get.
Yeah, that's why if you limit that number, then you can do more research into certain guys and say, hey, that's the guy I got to go get him. He fits our system. Yeah. That's what I would do. I don't mean I know everything, but that's the way I would do it, though. Yeah. Then
You know, guys, I was watching. I meant to tell you when we were talking about the NBA there briefly that I was watching a thing on YouTube TV, and they did the last. It was good. I mean, obviously subjective and opinionated, and they did the worst 10 general managers in the NBA since the year 2000. Okay.
Mm.
And they counted down from 10, 9, all the way to number 1.
Uh-huh.
And I forgot, like for example, Pat, that Isaiah Thomas was a GM for the New York Knicks about 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And they had him at number 9. At the list. Yeah. He was towards the bottom of the list. And number 1 was the guy from the Dallas Mavericks who traded Luka Doncic a couple years ago, last year.
Right.
Yeah, they'll probably never let that down.
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
He got fired.
But I heard he had pressure from upstairs.
That's what I believe.
They said that. They were complaining about Luka and Woody don't get ready for games, this, that.
Personally, he's the fall guy. If you ever believe me, I could tell you about fall guys when I worked in the insurance industry, and I won't get into that. But I think he was the fall guy. He followed orders he was under pressure to trade Luka. He did what he was told to do. I don't think he did that on his own. I could be wrong, definitely wrong. But he ended up being the fall guy, and he was the guy they fired, blaming him. But I think
you can trade anybody, Lucia, in any sport, but you better get back a better return than they got, right?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, that makes me think, because this is if I know this guy's a legend to the fans, and when he did trade him, did we hear a lot of uproar from the front office? Didn't hear. I mean, it was a church mouse. You didn't hear anything.
Nothing.
So that made a red flag come to me that they wanted him out of there. But that's why I can believe what you say when you say he was a fall guy, because then when all the pressure came about what he did down the road as it went, it was all on him.
It was all on him.
What was his name? Last name Harrison or something like that? Whatever.
Yeah.
But they put it all on him.
They put it on him.
You know, so
the thing I always have problems with the GMs is the owners basically, that is their fall guy. And these owners that make these decisions, they can always blame the GM. But at the end of the day.
But don't you think if it was a decision that they would have been like, oh, I don't know if we should do that. Wouldn't have been some uproar right at the beginning? He'd have been out of job, fired. Hey, you went above me and got this guy out of here. You're done. They had to sign off on it.
They had to sign off. They had to agree.
You know,
absolutely.
I don't believe.
It's just insane
that a lot of these,
because if you guys remember when the trade was made, allegedly, you know, obviously AD and LeBron James are very tight. They've been close friends for a long time, and LeBron said he didn't know about it until after it was done. So the ownership in front of them did not consult LeBron about the trade.
No, I don't
right?
believe
You talking about
that.
with Anthony Davis?
Yeah. No, they did not.
No, that time
I actually do believe that.
Yeah, I think he
was done, and that they didn't know.
And well, that's when they did consult LeBron. He gave the head nod. He didn't want to make his buddy feel bad. I mean, that could have been a situation too, right?
Well, I think personally the Lakers are done with him. They're done with LeBron. They want him to move on.
Well, I think when they did that Anthony Davis thing, I don't think they told him.
I don't think
they was going against him right then.
Because I think they pretty much were done with LeBron then to some extent. The Lakers were. I don't think the Lakers ever wanted to give LeBron an extension. They gave him what he had, but I think they wanted to kind of move on from him, because I was reading this article about Jeannie Buss having problems with Clutch Sports and Paul, the agent, and LeBron, and she just was like tired of the whole LeBron and all the stuff. And I think they had made a decision. They were kind of like, they made that trade. No, they did. I agree. I don't think they consulted with LeBron at all, because I think they were kind of thinking, future. They were thinking they were replacing LeBron down the road with Luka. And that's why they weren't going to consult LeBron, because they ultimately figured LeBron wasn't long term.
Yeah.
Could be right, yeah.
I could be wrong.
That's a good point. Yeah. That could be right. I mean, up until obviously Luka's hurt now, and who knows when he's going to come back? He's going to be out for at least 2 weeks at least, maybe longer. But is that this time of year the last thing you want is guys to get hurt going right in the playoffs, because you've been playing for 6 months, and all of a sudden now you get hurt right now. Middle of December is one thing where you miss 10 or 15 games, nobody cares. But you're at the point now where people want to be around in April and May. But with the run they've been on, the Lakers the last 2 months, they've been playing really, really well, though, correct?
No, they were. And they played great. And now you're not going to have Luka this week or next week. And it's supposedly a month long, at least a month injury, according to what I've read. That hamstring, it's a grade 2 strain. Okay. So they said it's usually a month. Well,
yeah, that puts you in early May, right? That puts you in early May.
And they're going to get a first round playoff, and they may be out again. If they don't have Luka in the first round, they're going to need him in the first round playoff. They may get bounced again in the first round.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you guys a serious question. I'm not trying to make you laugh. If LeBron does enter as a free agent, you know what I mean? I think there's only a few places he can honestly go. I mean, I think obviously the Lakers wouldn't be an option.
No.
Maybe you can go to the Clippers and play for the Clippers and stay in L.A. I'm just throwing scenarios out there.
Right.
Maybe you can go back to Cleveland. Or maybe go back and play for the New York Knicks.
Yeah, they're the 3 teams I've seen mentioned.
And I really think it's going to be Cleveland. I think that's what he's going to do, finish his ride.
And Dave, do you have to take Bronny with him? Do you have to take his son?
Well, I think you do, and that's going to be another discussion. Is
because he's not an NBA player.
No, he's not.
We can all see he's not an NBA player. He's not.
No, that's a
reality. He's still playing college basketball. He should be ending his junior year of college basketball.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
developing at the college level.
I know. I don't know. That's the music, Irish Mike. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next week. Happy Easter,
gentlemen.
All right, same to you guys.
Happy Easter, Irish Mike. Happy Easter to you, Dave Clark, and your family.
Same to you and yours.
Thank you. And we'll do it again next week. Do not drink, do not drive. Stay sober.
Right.
As we say, our motto on the show. Saturday Morning Sports Page.
stations that are always ahead of the game. Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast. Youngstown, Ohio.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hey, it's Ready Set Bet here on a Saturday. Matt Brown and Mike Somich here for the next 3 hours. Yes, Final Four talk. We will talk the NBA and all of the craziness going on over there. There's lots to talk about in the horse world as well. The NFL draft is heating up, all of the markets starting to populate over there at the sports books. See if we can't find an edge in all of that. Aaron Halterman will join us. We'll get his thoughts on anything basically that he wants to talk about. And Tim McCormick, college basketball analyst, also hosts a Michigan basketball podcast, going to join us. We'll get his thoughts on everything that is going down. But Somich, you're back in the saddle after gallivanting up and down the California coast. Glad to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, it was a fun week. Basically played Cruising USA. If you ever played that game, the first level of that game is basically going down the one on the coast. And let me tell you, it's treacherous north of San Francisco. Was not expecting going 10 miles, 15 miles per hour around hairpin turns, 300 feet above the ocean. But you know what? We survived. We're back. Probably ate a little too much. Probably drank a little too much. But had a lot of fun being out there for a weekend. And couldn't be more excited to come back this weekend with the Final Four, with baseball back. 5 games left in the NBA season, 7-8 games left in the NHL season. Great time for sports right now, Matt Brown.
No, absolutely. We'll get a little golf talk in, as well as we know the Masters next week. Final tune-up event happening in Texas over in San Antonio. We'll see what's going on over there and see if there's anything we want to pull from that or not, which I kind of lean towards the or not, but we will get to that a little bit later in the show as well. Over in the NBA, Mike Somich, it's time. We need the season needs to be over. Outside of the Pelicans and Kings game last night, which again, 2 teams that are dead, every other NBA game finished with at least an 11-point differential at the end of the game. Now, one of those games was a game between the Mavericks and the Magic that finished up 138 to 127. But the big story there, Cooper Flagg goes for 51 points on 19 of 30 shooting. He was 6 of 9 from 3, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Oh, he added in 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, a block, and he did all of this in 34 minutes.
Yeah, but he was -2 in the plus-minus for the game, Matt. So, you know.
Obviously a drag.
Throw a little water on this.
Obviously a drag on the team. Yeah, obviously a drag on the God, I hate plus-minus
awesome
so much.
Performance.
God, I hate it so much.
It's so bad. It's such a bad
God,
stat.
I hate it so much.
It was an awesome performance by Cooper Flagg. And it's interesting the timing of it as well. We had a straw poll come out on ESPN around who is going to be your Rookie of the Year. Right now, Cooper Flagg squarely in that second spot. We will see if this performance and possibly some in the final 5 games of the season able to flip that. But the big story inside the NBA, how out of control it has really gotten from a tanking perspective. And you could really illustrate that last night with 6 games of a 15-plus point spread. All 6 favorites covered the 15-plus point spread as well. We know that Adam Silver looking for a way to try and combat this for next season. I'm not sure what you could possibly do to be able to try and force teams to not tank. I've heard all these different ideas out there, but the fact of the matter is the number 1 pick, the top 3 picks mean too much in the NBA because you can flip your franchise with a guy like Cooper Flagg. So people are going to go after him if they stink.
And that's the thing is we look at this. By the way, a quick little reminder to everybody out there. Cooper Flagg is 19 years old and will be 19 years old until December of this year, Mike. He's basically freshly 19 years old whenever he is doing all of this. Now, you mentioned the Rookie of the Year race. Concanipple is still your -350 favorite over at DraftKings. Cooper Flagg +240 in the Rookie of the Year market. So we'll see how that all plays out. 5 games left, as you mentioned, over in the East to paint your picture. The Pistons are up 4 on the Celtics for the top spot over there. The Hawks are in the 5th slot. They are a game and a half up on the Sixers and the Raptors. The Hornets are a game and a half behind the Sixers and the Raptors for that 6th slot, and the Magic are actually 2 games back of that 6th slot. So this actually will go down to the very end over in the East. Maybe not so much as to who's the number 1 seed. I don't imagine the Pistons are going to end up losing it there to the Celtics, but it is definitely up for grabs what's going to happen from a play-in perspective.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of those situations where if you can get into that 6, I think you really want to. You don't want to end up taking on either the Pistons or the Celtics. You almost would rather be the 8 in this situation than the 7 as well in that play-in style game. So Interesting what's happening in the East here as we go down to it. I agree with you. Pistons are going to be your 1. Celtics are going to be your 2. Question is really what's going to happen toward the bottom of that. And the Hawks have been fascinating, Matt. They have been absolutely streaking, playing great basketball toward the latter half of this season. We'll see if they can kind of stay in that position there and hang on to the 5 seed and get a Cleveland team that's been up and down throughout the season as that first round matchup.
Over in the West, OKC is up 2 on the Spurs for the top spot, so that will definitely go down to the wire. The Lakers currently in the 3 spot, but of course we get the news without Luka at least for the rest of the regular season. So with 5 games left in that 3 spot, they are at Dallas. You would think still maybe a win there, but home versus OKC, at the Warriors with Steph back, and then home against the Suns and the Jazz. So the Lakers could lose that 3 spot depending on how those last 5 games go. Suns are mathematically still in it to get the 6 slot right now, Mike. They're 4 games back of the Timberwolves. Not likely to happen, but outside of that, we kind of know over in the West where everybody sits.
How much do you want to play the Lakers in the first round? With everything that's happened to Luka now, like it is almost a treat if you're able to draw the Lakers in the first round. You mentioned it. I would expect the Nuggets able to catch Los Angeles and be able to move themselves up to that 3 spot. LA falls to the 4. And then you've got the Rockets who are sitting there just exceedingly happy that they roll into that 5 seed and get the Lakers spot. T-Wolves would love the Lakers to stay at 3 because the Timberwolves would have been a tough matchup for the Lakers had Luka been healthy. If the Timberwolves get the Lakers without Luka, that would be a very bad situation for that LA Lakers team. So all eyes really on the Lakers now. Where do they end up? What do we hear back from Luka? And it's a shame, Matt. Like the fact that he played 64 games, he missed 2 games to fly to Europe for the birth of his first child, and he's not going to be first team NBA. He's excluded from all the postseason awards. I understand why they made this rule. This is really just negatively affecting the player, and it's because of when the injury happened. I'd almost like the Lakers to just have him walk out there, stand there for a tip, walk off the court, get his 65th game played so that he's eligible to be first-team All-NBA because he deserves to be. He had a phenomenal season.
And make it even funnier, have him just wheelchair out there. Like he's out there in a wheelchair, and then he just wheels himself off like right afterwards. Yes, I think that would be definitely worth it. Of course, tons of college basketball talk from us here over the course of the show. I know Tim did a ton and did a great job on that show prior to us. Currently, right now, 1.5, 2 points in favor of Illinois, 1.5 to 1 if you're in a Caesars market in favor of Michigan over Arizona. Again, ton of that talk to come. We'll get on the other side. We'll talk this Giannis stuff. We don't want to make sure that we have enough time to get to all of it. In Major League Baseball, Mike Somich, we are now at least starting to form a tiny bit of sample size with the teams out there. The Dodgers moved to 5-2 with their big win over the Nats last night. Some big stuff coming from them, which is Shohei and Kyle Tucker hit their first home runs of the season. Yes, they were doing all of this without those guys actually performing at a high level. Miles Michaelis gave up 11 earned in 4 1/3 innings for the Nats. Michaelis has long since been cooked in Major League Baseball. So anytime he takes the hill, we're going to be looking to play against him. But Dodgers 5-2 with 2 of their big stars struggling has got to be pretty big bummer for the rest of the National League.
I mean, we kind of knew, right? With the stars struggling, you were hoping they wouldn't start out 5-2. But let's be honest. I mean, we talked about this Dodgers team. They're going to win the West. They're going to be the favorites throughout the season to be able to win the World Series and come out of the National League. And they deserve to be. This team is so talented top to bottom. The staff is so deep. Like this is just a really well-constructed team. And I say that, but they spent the money to get the team. Let's be honest here. But they do have the players up and down the lineup to be good. I'm more impressed with what the Yankees have done to start out the season, and they've been red hot. A team that I thought might stumble out of the gate, starting out 6-1 and trying to now face the 5-2 Marlins. Another team we talked about that might be frisky, and apparently the Marlins are going to be frisky right out of the gate.
Yeah, that's you talk about them moving to 6-1, and that's with Aaron Judge, who, by the way, did hit a home run, 3 RBI. He walked, he stole a base yesterday, all of that. But hitting 185 with a 267 OBP, and of course, he is an OBP monster, Mike. So with the Yankees, they are getting it done without their guy that I was, again, small sample size and early on here, but I'm like, listen, if Aaron Judge doesn't roll, neither does this team. Well, he has not been rolling, and the team has. So we'll have to continue to monitor that situation there. With the Yankees, Framber Valdez shut out the Cardinals over 6 innings. Tigers won that one 4-0. The Red Sox beat the Padres, and more. We bring this up because both teams, Mike Somich, 2-5 on the season, the Red Sox and the Padres. Now, we weren't super high on the Padres, but I was definitely pretty high on the Red Sox. Small sample size here, but their third baseman, Caleb Durbin, that they traded for, and all, he had an RBI single in the fourth inning to break his 0 for 19 start to the season. He was 0 for 19 to start the season, and he gets an RBI knock there, but both of those teams sitting 2-5.
Well, look, he just wanted to get home. He wanted to play in Boston for his first hit, his first RBI, so he figured he'd just punt the first set of games there when he was on the road. Look, yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm surprised to see how this AL East has started out. Like I said, I thought the Yankees would struggle early in the season. You see teams like the Blue Jays, the Red Sox play good ball, and then if you wanted to get in on the Yankees, you could do it a little bit later. It's been the reverse of that up until this point, and it's a Red Sox team which, look, you just don't want to fall too far behind the Yankees, who pitching-wise should get better as the season progresses along. So this is, well, it's early, well, it's a small sample size. It's still a very important stretch for those teams that are chasing the Yankees in the AL East.
The Mets won 10-3 over the Giants, and Nolan McLean took a perfect game into the sixth inning. Those are all good things. The bad thing is Juan Soto left with calf tightness. He's going to have an MRI today, Mike, so if anything comes through on the Twitter machine while we're on air, we'll keep everybody up to date there on that one, but could be a huge deal there for the Mets. And Connor Griffin, we said it. We're like, hey, listen, your boy, the dude is not going. I got a 7-1, by the way. It drifted all the way to 7-1 on him Rookie of the Year because he started in the minors. Like, it's unbelievable. Made his major league debut, RBI double and a walk. The Pirates beat the Orioles 5-4. And you listen to even the teammates talk about him, and they're like, yeah, he's 19. The kid is legit.
It's going to be fun being able to watch him throughout this entire season. Still love the Pirates, man. They're a fun young team. I wish that they didn't sell everybody all the time.
We got some early Major League Baseball to get into the account. And what in the world is going on with Giannis?
This is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. Jack Hughes wants the puck from his golden goal at the Winter Olympics final, but it is on display at the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. Hughes believes he has earned the right to keep the puck and wants it for himself and his family. The International Ice Hockey Federation says the puck belongs to them and has been donated to the Hall of Fame for public display as part of their mission to preserve the history of the game. One appraiser of sports memorabilia says the puck may be worth about $50,000 if it were brought to market. J.P. Morgan Chase formed a council of some of the biggest sports names in the U.S. as part of an effort to manage money for more than 500,000 college, working, and retired athletes across the country. The firm tapped NBA Hall of Famer Dwayne Wade to chair the group, which also includes famed quarterback Tom Brady and two-time FIFA Women's World Cup winners Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe. With the Bloomberg Business of Sports report, I'm Michael Barr.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Where do you stand on the great MVP race of 2026?
Cashing out with Dustin Sweetelson.
I think SGA is boring. I understand the brilliance. You can make the case he's the best player in the league. But to me, I look at Wemby and what he's done and how he's lifted San Antonio. I think
not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
This is Matt Lipsack, the voice of the Youngstown Phantoms, and your home for Phantoms hockey is Western Reserve Radio.
Here's channel 158, YouTube TV, our very own VSiN Watch app and terrestrial station across this great country of ours. We've got some Major League Baseball to get to here in just a second, but Mike, we will get to horse racing a little bit later. Of course, big news coming out of the horse racing world this week where one of the favorites will no longer be in the race.
Yeah, we lost Paladin on the Kentucky Derby Trail, who was your favorite in pretty much every future pool that we have seen since Ted Noffey decided to miss the Kentucky Derby as well. So two of the favorites at the start of the year, both now out. We had a couple key races last week, including the Florida Derby, where Commandment wins a nose photo over the Puma. Chief Wallaby runs third. All three of them will be your top or close to your top choice in the Kentucky Derby. We also had Renegade, very impressive in Arkansas. Right now, those four project to be your four favorites. We have three more 100 Kentucky Derby point prep races today. We'll talk about a couple of those, but it's been a topsy-turvy couple of weeks inside the Kentucky Derby, which was already wide open and felt like it just got even a little bit more wide open after the results we saw last weekend.
It's more sports talk radio type of stuff, but news is news is news, and so we will hit on the Giannis thing real quick and move on, get to Major League Baseball, but so apparently he and the Bucks have differing stories going on here, Mike. The Bucks say he's not ready to play. Giannis says he is. He was talking to reporters yesterday, to which he said, I'm available to play, but I'm not in the game. I'm available to play today, right now. I'm available. For somebody to come and tell me to not play or not to compete, it's like a slap in the face. So I don't know where the relationship goes from here, to which Doc Rivers later comments, the tough part about all this is I'm in the middle and I have nothing to do with it. So he's like, hey, don't blame me, man. Don't you come pointing the finger at me. This is coming from upstairs. Like, I don't have anything to do with this, whether he plays or doesn't play, whatever. But, I mean, listen, we knew that it was going to be a breakup anyway, but now it seems like it's going to be a bad breakup. They're going to unfollow each other on the socials, and they're not going to talk to each other anymore.
Yeah, it just got complicated on Facebook over there in relationship status. Look, this is just such a terrible job by the Bucks franchise of managing this entire process. The fact that he played it all after the trade deadline is ridiculous. He should have just been sat. You should have talked to him when you were going to keep him at the trade deadline. Say, hey, if you stay here, we're not going to play you for the rest of the season so we can get a better draft pick and then reassess what we're going to do over the summer. Clearly that conversation didn't happen. You're getting some Max Crosby vibes here where he was upset when the Raiders didn't play him late in the season. But this is to the point where it's been on again, off again. He said, she said throughout this entire process of whether or not they're going to trade Giannis for what feels like a decade now, but it's really been about 2 years. Look, it's just time. Just move on from the soap opera here. This is not working. You're not going to win a title in the short term if you're Milwaukee with Giannis. You've already missed the opportunity, which would have been about a year ago, to trade the dude for the absolute peak value. Now you're going to do it. I think you'll still get a very good return. Don't get me wrong. But this has just been malpractice by the franchise basically for 2 years at this point with what they've done with Giannis. And now it's coming to a boiling point. Finally, I can't wait for him to be traded. Yeah. I'm tired of talking about this.
I know. Seriously. It's just like, okay, get in front of the mic. Tell everybody your side. That's fine. We've done it now. We don't need any more drama here. Thank goodness there's only 5 games left in the season. Okay, guys, we're down to the final stretch of college hoops. It's a great time to stay on top of every bet with VSiN Pro. You get daily best bets, betting splits. You get the AI prop projections, every single thing that we do over at VSiN.com. And you can get in for as little as $9.99, or today you can save 50% with an annual subscription. So again, VSiN.com/subscribe. Go in as little as $9.99 or 50% off with an annual subscription. And of course, Mike, you know, you go in and you get a part of that. You're going to have Kentucky Derby stuff coming up. We're going to have a lot of Masters stuff coming up this week. This is a pretty good time to get in and take advantage of that $9.99 for the first month.
Yeah, it's a great month to get involved. You mentioned the Masters, the Kentucky Derby. Don't forget NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Just a lot going on around the sporting world, and maybe in spots where you're not as dialed in as you are in other places. Oh, by the way, you mentioned the MLB betting guide. You also get Opt AI and the MLB prop tools that are there on the website. So a lot of reasons to get involved over at VSiN.com/subscribe right now.
So it is early in the baseball season. If you've been with me and Mike for the last couple of years, you know we always say don't overreact to small sample size stuff, but you can start to glean things. I mean, listen, I think that it's not an overreaction to say that the White Sox are going to be absolutely horrific. I mean, the pitching staff is terrible. The bullpen's terrible. I mean, I think we know that here with this, and we don't have to say like, oh, it's only small sample size. Who cares? They're 2-5. Like, I think they're going to be really, really bad. But we kind of look at that super competitive AL East, Mike. You mentioned the Yankees going 6-1. Well, the Blue Jays 4-3, 3-4 the Orioles, and then 2-5 the Rays and the Red Sox. I'm not overreacting quite yet to what we've seen from the Red Sox. I'm not overreacting that the Orioles are a game under 500 and that the Jays offense has kind of come and gone a little bit on the early half of the season. I still expect this division to be highly competitive. I do not think the Yankees are going to run away and hide.
No, I don't either. And it's interesting because we have seen the division odds slightly adjust from what we saw. So the Yankees were about plus 180 before the season started. They're down to plus 110. If you want to get involved in the Blue Jays, you can get a slightly better price at plus 290. Red Sox up to plus 475 and the Orioles at plus 550. I was expecting the opposite start. So I'm kind of sitting here like, do I want to double down against the Yankees? Do I want to go in and take another piece of the Blue Jays? Do I want to add the Red Sox at a better price? I haven't made any moves. I've got a Blue Jays plus 250 ticket to win the division right now, but it is a little interesting here with Judge not hitting and the Yankees playing well. Is it a time that you want to jump in front of that Yankees train? Because I do think this is going to be a competitive division, as you put it, throughout the entire season. And if that's the case, plus 110 feels a little short on them to win that division.
We got some early baseball games, 3 of them, as a matter of fact here. So we will go ahead and give you our thoughts here on these early first pitches. We've got the Cardinals, Tigers, Brewers, Royals, and then the Blue Jays and the White Sox. The first one coming here in less than an hour is that Cardinals and Tigers game. As we sit right now, Dustin May is your starter for the Cardinals. Jack Flaherty is your starter for the Detroit Tigers. And over there, from a betting perspective, we are going to be looking at about minus 170-ish in favor of the Tigers at home. 7.5 is going to be the prevailing total out there on this one. Mike, I'm going in, and I understand we have to kind of go on priors at this point. Some of the stuff that we saw in spring training I know was looking a little bit better for Dustin May, but he goes out, gets kind of shelled in that first start. I've never been a Dustin May guy. I thought that Dustin May was trying to just use